live on time. So yeah, we're out here in beautiful Portland, Oregon, in front of the Pioneer Place Mall. I almost said Square. Pioneer Place Mall on Southwest 5th and Southwest Morrison. And we're going to ask some people about their values and see if they're actually living in alignment with it. So again, I'm VSL, Vegan Stoner Lady. You can find me on almost any platform. And yeah.
I am Enigma. You can find me on Instagram at Genderless Enigma. Elvin and I also are doing some activism with Total Liberation Now. Do watch that account. We may be going live very soon. We definitely are going live very soon. It's just a matter of how soon. We're looking forward to having some good conversations here in Portland, Oregon, hoping that it stays dry for us. And yeah.
And hopefully it warms up a little. I'm feeling cold. We got hand warmers. I did not prepare as much for the coldness. It's these buildings, the shade. But anyway, I'm Vegan. I'm Elvin Wilson III, and it's Elv3 again on Instagram. But yeah, I'm with Total Liberation Now. We're just out here going to have some conversations like always and do our best to spread awareness and rock people's brains.
That's right. Oh, I didn't get the signs out.
Well,
hold on a second. I'm going to get the signs out.
Perfect.
Let's see who's here.
Yes.
Lambretta, you're here. Daniel's here.
Hello,
it's great to see all the
hello.
vegans.
Who else?
Sabby's here.
Hi.
Anik's here. So many
Alright.
vegans already.
Thank y'all for being here.
Everybody who's here already, double tap that screen. Keep double tapping. Start that going so that we can have YouTube see our live and push it in the algorithm. Also share it if on social media if you can as well. Daniel says so on time.
So
we
funny.
are.
Yeah, we're here at 11, so that's great.
If there are any non-vegans here, we're looking to open up a conversation with you. We're looking to talk with non-vegans in person as well as in the chat, starting a discussion about animal ethics. We're asking, is it ethical to exploit our animal relatives that we share this planet with when we live in 2026 and we have an abundance of other options and it's completely needless? Leave your thoughts in the chat.
I'm excited to talk to people today. I feel like I don't know. We had lots of conversations, but I don't know if I had many of them last
I think you only
weekend.
had the one.
Yeah, I think I just talked to that one person
We
and
all only had one. I had a second one, but she was vegan. But we
Yeah,
all had
yeah,
this
yeah.
one.
Oh, the animal testing conversation.
Yes.
animal testing's worse. Well, one of the worst. I feel like for me to try to argue against, because I don't know, people try to be like, oh, like, I don't know, they have some emotional attachment to maybe like somebody benefiting from animal testing in their life, and then I like have to like tell them like that's no, like we should still be against that, like it's not good just because it saves somebody. We know like it's still taking the autonomy of somebody else away in their life and forcing them to do things they don't want to do. So hello, yes, here before the trolls roll in. They'll be here soon. They're on their way. They might be here already. If you are non-vegan in the chat or watching, leave your reason for maybe why you aren't vegan or what your understanding of veganism is at this moment. Because we got lots of vegans in chat, and I would love to also explain what it is, talk to you about it, and maybe see why you aren't vegan. We've got just the three of us right now, waiting on grass-fed too. Should be here any moment. Someone says, do you know that Jesus Christ has saved more animals from sacrifice than any other person in the history of the earth? I'm not sure how it's relevant to the veganism question, but if you'd like to say, leave your reason for not being vegan, we can get to that. Just because somebody else has saved more animals doesn't mean you can't save some yourself.
Have you done the 1, 2s, and 3s?
I have not, actually. Here, you do that.
If you're a vegan who's here, put a 1 in the chat. Vegans, put a 1. Non-vegans who are open-minded and curious, put a 2. And trolls, put a 3. I want to get a sense of who's in the room with us, who's in the live stream.
Hello. Nick has arrived. I was just saying you're about to be here. Grass-fed's here. Perfect. Lots of 1s. Nice. Hello, vegans. Where are y'all all from? Let's do that too, if you don't mind.
Hold that for a second.
If you don't mind giving that up. Like a state or country.
There's no microphone.
It's always nice to see like where everybody is.
Hold that for Take as many as you want. I took like 5, 6 of these. Yeah.
You should help me. Yeah.
Hi, Daniel Broccoli. Hi, Savvy Coops. Very thankful to all the vegans and the moderators.
You go like this. Let's see. Oh,
Let's see.
it's not counting down. That's weird.
Who saved the mostest animals in Earth's history? That's an interesting question. Which individual? I'm not sure.
I mean, they were claiming it's Jesus.
Oh, it's Jesus.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
What's the relevance of Jesus saving the most individuals? Let's just grant that that's the case. I'm not sure that it is, but let's grant that Jesus saved the most animals. What's the relevance of that to whether we should exploit and kill animals today when we have another option? Why would we participate in needless violence against our animal relatives? What would be our justification for the violence? It's great to have all the vegans here. Everybody who's here, continue double tapping that screen and sharing the live. For anybody who's curious, we are here in Portland, Oregon at the Pioneer Place Mall. And we're looking to have discussions with y'all in the chat as well as folks in person about animal liberation. Most folks believe that humans should be liberated from systems of oppression, but should the animals that we share this planet with also be liberated from being used as objects by humans? Should we also stand in solidarity with the animals that we share this planet with and support their liberation as well? What do you think?
He said, read the Mosaic laws, so be it. Answer the question, or why are you not vegan?
Somebody says animals are under our dominion. So here you're pointing to the fact that humans have strength and power over other animals. But does strength and power justify abusing your strength and power? Does it justify violence just because you can be violent and you have the capacity to? Does might make right? These are the questions we're asking. What do you think? Somebody says, no, that's not what dominion means. So expand. What do you mean by dominion?
Yeah.
Hi, vegan engineer. Good to see you.
Self-evident.
To anybody, yeah, we're not going to operate based on what's self-evident. So provide your definition for dominion if you don't agree with the one we've presented so that we can open up the conversation. We're not necessarily here to spar or argue with anybody. We weren't always vegan. We just came across some information and reflected on our principles and came to the conclusion that we no longer wanted to participate in exploiting the animals that we share this planet with. So if you think there's a justification or if you have a personal obstacle to going vegan, we'd love to open up this conversation. Somebody says they're eating a piece of a cow for breakfast. So delicious. So we're not necessarily talking about what is, but we're talking about what should be. I recognize that right now you may participate in exploiting cows, but should you in the future? Does your taste pleasure that you get from consuming the cow's flesh, does it justify the exploitation, the use, the violence, and the suffering that is a consequence of that flesh being on your plate?
Yeah. Microkernel says, when you are a king, you have dominion over subjects. For example, you are not a good king if you needlessly abuse them, but it is your position that you make use of the resources therein. I think you have a misunderstanding of what is going on and happening, right? Or the scale of it. Or maybe you see the intensity as something less than because you haven't seen things like Watch Dominion. Yes, thank you, Daniel, literally. And you see that we're so far past what is necessary, and we're so far past what is, moral in any situation at all. So like, forget good king, bad king, or like who's, whatever. Like the whole system is messed up, right? You have millions, trillions of animals being used and exploited every single year in countless ways. And that doesn't mean, like, I don't know. There's no way to say anything that that's going on is necessary, or is like resources that are having to be used, or like they're doing their best with what we have. We're so far past our best. Someone says, would you stop a lion from eating gazelle? What a common question. So like as we talk about necessity, right? Animals who are living elsewhere may have that necessity, and you are not, exactly like Vegan Engineer says. You're not a wolf. And Neil, thank you. Yeah, you're not a wolf. And we don't live our lives according to how animals in wild situations are living their lives, right? We don't take what we need, right, because we have to. We have options. We can go to the store. We can make choices. So someone says, I really appreciate what you guys are doing with talking and raising awareness about veganism. It's great to listen to y'all. Thank you. We're glad y'all are tuning in. It's always nice to talk to people and question them on what do they think about our fellow animals. Someone says, wouldn't it be better to campaign to end hunger before deciding what foods to eat? Well, the idea, yes, we can do both. And the idea is, you say what foods to eat. Why is it that you refer to them as foods instead of animals? And why is the veganism discussion reduced to just food in your question? Whereas, like, what I'm also talking about is exploitation, and that's what actually veganism is about. As acknowledging, right? We're acknowledging cruel treatment in all sorts, although it's not about treatment, right? It's about the mindset of having people be objects for you and here for you instead of with you. So to reduce them to a status of food already in and of itself is a problem. So you got to reframe the question already. Like, why? Let me read it again. It says, it would be like, wouldn't it be better to campaign to end hunger before deciding who gets to eat who? And it's not something that I am glad to entertain. What about people allergic to plant proteins? Do you care about them? I do. I mean, I care about anybody it would be ableist to not, right? So those people can probably speak to dietitians, and also, take other options, right? Or get their proteins from maybe other sources like supplements or something. If they really had to get their proteins from like a flesh source, which I doubt, like I've never heard of that, but I'd be interested in learning. They would still be vegan as long as they're really not seeing that animals as objects to be used. Like they literally are forced to, have to survive. Like it's tragic. That's like literally insane and terrible. And I might just myself choose demise. Someone says, any of you people ever been to a farm? Have you ever been to a slaughterhouse? I mean, like we have people who, aren't in factories or haven't worked in factories, but they acknowledge that, but they know that working in factories is bad and they can be against that. So you're asking me to have experience personally exploiting animals on a farm to then have an opinion on whether or not it's good or not. Does that sound logical?
I'm trying to be better.
Someone says, I've been to lots of farms, the good and bad kinds. I think you folks haven't. The point is, there is no farm. I mean, if you're talking about plant farms, like, corn fields or rice, and even, like, I don't know. I don't understand how a farm where people are being treated like objects, cows, pigs, goats, or whoever is being treated like animal agriculture, right? It's unfair to say that it's good in any situation because they're being used. They're for them, like all they have. It's just incredibly wrong to assume that there's even, a right way to treat them as long as you're seeing them as objects. Because what it all leads to is, if you objectify somebody, then eventually you will just, you won't treat them well. You don't treat them with the same moral consideration that you do yourself, and you definitely don't, put their beliefs or interests at the same level as yours. Someone says, how would you say the best course of action is for people with less ability for selective diets, but disagree with the overall meat industry? I would say just open some resources. Like, there are so many misconceptions about what is possible on a plant-based diet, and it's incredibly on purpose that it is that way. They try to make plant-based diets and whole food plant-based diets seem emasculine or primitive, even, or like not evolved or unhealthy or genetically modified. Like, there's just so many ways that they try to slander plant-based diets to aid in like dismantling the vegan movement, or like what it should be, right? Which is people who change their mindset, right, and recognize that animals are not here for human use or anybody's use, and that sentient beings are not deserving of any oppression at all.
Hi, 40-year-old vegan. I see you.
Hello.
You doing all right?
Yeah. But
Hi, Lambretta. To anybody who's here and joined more recently, I see there's some new folks in the chat. We're here in Portland, or can you scoot up a little bit?
oh yeah, sorry.
Not all the way off, just like so we're both. Thank you. We're here in Portland, Oregon, at the Pioneer Place Mall, and we're asking folks about animals and ethics. So I'll ask everybody in the chat: would it be preferable to relate to other animals as our relatives that we share this planet with, or as objects to be used? Which way would you prefer to relate to our fellow animals, our fellow Earthlings?
Yeah.
Put the mic closer, okay.
But what I was saying was that, like, plant-based diets, they just make them seem so inaccessible, and they make it seem like, they give you other reasons to also, like, not want to pursue that, because it would help you live vegan. It would help you live in a way that, your ethics aren't being, like, you're not having to combat with that.
Oh, somebody says, will you be there tomorrow too? I want to join you guys for the outreach. So if you're vegan and you're interested in joining, you can always look for our events on Instagram. This is our weekly event. We're here at Pioneer Place Mall right now. If you can get here in time and you're vegan and you want to participate in abolitionist outreach, then get here. But if not, just keep an eye on our Instagram, anti-animal use, because all of our events are posted there. And we are welcome to everybody. You don't have to be well-spoken. You just have to be passionate and consistently hold the mindset that animals are not ours to use, that they're not objects for humans to exploit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then once you do so, like, you kind of inherently realize that a plant-based diet is kind of the way to go. So you'll kind of do anything in your power, or at least, the vegans that I'm around and, plan to be around, do everything in their power to live that way, to live plant-based, to not exploit anybody.
I'm going to ask the vegans to put a 1 in the chat. Vegans put a 1. Okay. You want to take this?
Yeah.
Vegans put a 1 in the chat. Non-vegans who are open-minded put a 2. And trolls or anti-vegans put a 3, or whatever else you're going to put, because directions are challenging for y'all. Somebody says, is all animal husbandry wrong? So all animal exploitation, that's how I frame it. I don't know what you mean by husbandry, but all animal exploitation is unacceptable from the animal's perspective. And if we have a choice not to contribute to it, not to be a part of that process, why wouldn't we choose to opt out? Why would we choose to participate in needless violence, in needless exploitation and subjugation? Leave your best justification in the chat so that I can get back to you. Everybody who is here, continue double tapping that screen and sharing the live. We want to have a big conversation here. Leave your best arguments against veganism in the chat so that I can address them. Somebody says, even needed is wrong. Vegan anthem. Yeah, I understand what you mean, vegan anthem. Like, even if it was necessary. Oh.
Do you want to do an interview? Awesome. Come on over, just stand right here in this box. I'll actually have your, there you go, just stay right there. My name's Anna, what's yours?
Caltrell Lucas.
Say it one more time.
Caltrell Lucas.
Caltrell Lucas?
Caltrell Lucas.
Caltrell. Sorry.
Lucas.
Sorry. Oh my God. What is wrong with me now? I'm so sorry. Now I'm terrible. One more time for me. I'm so sorry. Caltrell.
CALTRELL Lucas.
Lucas. My name's Anna. Lovely to meet you.
How many questions you finna ask?
I'm sorry?
How many questions you finna
It takes
ask?
like 5 minutes.
It's good.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about the powerful versus the powerless? Do you think powerful, whether they're strong or really smart, should have the right to oppress the powerless? You do think so? Do you think that someone should be able to tell you what to do without your consent?
Yeah, sorry. I mean,
I agree. No one should tell you what to do. So, what if someone was really strong? What if they're physically really strong? Should they be able to push you
I
around?
got an old nigga that's up there at the library that's hella strong. Nigga, he don't get to push me around.
Right, exactly. I agree. He shouldn't have to, or he shouldn't do that to you. What do you think about the animals that we use for food, clothing, and entertainment? Would you agree that we as humans are oppressing them? We're using them unfairly? No? Do you know that animals are sentient? Do you know what sentience is? That's okay. Sentience just means the ability to have a subjective experience. So you're sentient, right? You're experiencing life. You have your own experience of emotions. So do you think that other animals experience that? Having their own experience of life? Yeah. So sentience also means that we care about what happens to ourselves. Just like you said, no one gets to push you around. So other animals being sentient means they don't want to be used. Do you know what veganism is? Tell me what you understand veganism to mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so it just means it's a ethical stance against the exploitation of other sentient beings. I don't want to demand someone be enslaved because I don't want to be enslaved for somebody else. Does that align with your own principles? Yeah? Awesome. So would you be willing to, maybe look at your habits and live in alignment with your own values and live vegan? Awesome. Can I give you a card? You sound like you're really open-minded. Awesome. So this front part is just our website. You can either scan that QR code or just look it up. And then on the back side is just how you can eat everything in a day.
You
Go to
got
Whole
food right
Foods.
now?
I'm sorry?
You got any food?
No, I don't have any food. But there is on that card, there's a
How
food
y'all
bank.
gonna bring some shit down here without no food?
I'm sorry?
Why would y'all bring some shit
They don't
down
have food.
here? Why would y'all
Why don't you
bring
go harass them about food?
Alright.
Can you not touch me, please? Can you back up? Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Well, I think we're done here. You can go ahead and leave. I appreciate you talking to me. Oh my God. Yes, that was a character for sure. Yes.
Thank you. Sorry, I don't know why I
No, you're fine. I didn't pull out the cards.
Are there many more cards?
Yes, there are.
You'll have to chat. Yeah.
Yes.
This conversation
Ugh, it's cold out here. Very cold.
Well, at least there wasn't too much.
that was
You had a good
yeah.
That guy was purposely off camera.
Really?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate because it's like this like part of how it's like moving from that race.
We're out here today, Portland, Oregon. We're talking. We're at Pioneer Place. We're talking about oppression, and should the powerful have the right to oppress the powerless? And should we have the right to oppress, helpless animals that we victimize and send into situations like slaughterhouses and lab testing, for example? Is that fair to do to them? Should we be doing that? So that's what we're here talking about today. So if you're interested, you can stick around, see us have conversations with people on the street. Ooh, it's cold. I'm shivering. Put a 1 in the chat if you, let's say, put a 1 in the chat if you are vegan, and then a 2 in the chat if you aren't.
He was like, yeah, no, his energy was because of his energy. Surprised me because he was just like, but I think I don't know, I just liked him a little bit too. Because I was like, no, it's like just the fact that because he admitted he didn't articulate himself the way he wanted or whatever. And I was like, no, that's perfect.
Getting a lot of. We got some 1s, we got some 2s. Yeah, I am freezing. I'm like shivering. It's cold. We might have a conversation coming up.
Yes, feel better about that.
Yes, I only eat plants. I don't consume flesh or bodily secretions from any other animals. Oof. I don't ever know how you guys are. Yeah. They're like saying in the chat, like, you're freezing. I don't know why I'm always so cold.
Oh, we're cold too. You know, we're all shaking.
You might be warmer if you ate some proper food. I ate plenty of proper food. Get plenty of, whole foods, plenty of protein.
Like 40 degrees, okay? It's
I was
40.
gonna say, it's pretty chilly over here.
It's not cooler. It's definitely cold over here. We're in the shade of the building, and there's a little breeze going on. It's chilly.
Hopefully the sun comes out. Maybe it'll shine on us.
It will. It's coming around. Also, if we take pictures of each other, this is the phone, and this is the code. Start on that corner.
Okay. All right.
And just go camera right there. Bam.
Ooh. Yes, tofu, beans, quinoa, rice, lentils. I mean, there's so much, food you can eat that aren't corpses and bodily secretions. It's really not that hard to figure out. I mean, like when I first went vegan, I was a little confused, but I mean, it took me like maybe a week or two, and then I got in the swing of things, and it's like second nature at this point. So, I mean, if you are willing you should be willing just to put in some slight effort to finding, other foods, and there you go.
Do you want to use your hand warmers?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm like...
Yeah, I was like,
shaking on camera.
you can come right back though when you're done. I'll just hold this for you. Let's see, what's the outside temp again? I don't know, something like 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, Elwood's dog meat pizza. Go check out Elwood's organic dog meat. If you're really into organic, well-raised, right, humanely slaughtered flesh, go check out their meat dogs. They make a delicious pug bacon. Pug. Yes, the largest, I agree, I'll read that out for you, Vegan Anthem. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you out. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, the largest peer-reviewed nonprofit diet nutritionist organization with over 112,000 members. I didn't know the actual number. Endorses animal exploitation free. Yes, they do endorse a plant-based diet, animal-free, yes.
Well, someone said I eat meat, but I feel bad when I kill a bug for no reason. I don't know what's wrong with me. Well, I mean, why do you still eat meat? Curious. What's stopping you from, going vegan?
Thank you. Yes, we are trying to make a difference out here. In fact, we're out here because I feel like we do think that most people agree with us that, we shouldn't exploit others when we don't need to, when we can avoid doing so. And that's all we're trying to do is be like, hey, guess what? You don't have to use animals. I know you think you have to. You've been told that, but you don't have to.
Yeah, you don't. It's honestly really, people act like it's hard. It's super easy.
Hi, Daniel. Daniel says hi.
Oh, hi, Daniel.
He just said hi to both of us specifically. You're the shame police? It's not shame. It's more like, what would you want done? If you were the victim, what kind of advocate would you like? Would you like someone that's saying, hey, oppressors, stop oppressing? Or would you like someone, that's like really nice and like, it's okay to take baby steps. You can keep exploiting so-and-so. I personally want my oppressor to stop.
Yeah, someone said, do you believe animals are persons? I've heard that recently, and I don't believe, I know animals are living and sentient, they're having a subjective experience just like us, just like any of us are, here. So if that's the case, then, and we don't have to harm them or exploit them, then why do so?
Yeah.
Simple as that.
I just had a realization, this is probably on top. It is. Got it. Okay, guys, some of your messages weren't seen. I'm sorry. Hey, David, I see you. Be kind. It's simple. It really is. You don't need to demand someone's exploitation.
No, you don't. It's very easy not to.
The 12-year-old kid who made my shirt? A 12-year-old made this? That's impressive. Oh, do you mean slave labor? Is
Yeah,
that what
I
you're
was gonna say
referencing?
that's
I
where
thought
they
you
were-
meant
that's
like
where
I
they
had
were.
a kid like paint this for me. Okay. No,
That's
this
where
is
they were
actually
going
a sweatshirt. I researched where to get this sweatshirt. This is made by people who are part of a union. It's also made with fabrics that are ethically sourced. So I did my due diligence on finding my fabrics, but regardless of even if I'm a contradiction and maybe I'm wearing something that contradicts what I'm saying, what is the contradiction in saying don't exploit others when you can avoid doing so? What's wrong with that? Why aren't you making better choices? Why do I have to be perfect in order for you to make better choices? Can you hold this for a second?
Yeah. I want to do this again. Let's see how many vegans we got in here. So, and non-vegans. So put a 1 in the chat if you are vegan. And you can even put a 3 if maybe you're non-vegan but you're curious. All right, we got a lot of vegans in here. That's good. And if you are a non-vegan, then give us your best argument as to why, or explain why. We can talk to you about it. Do you want to hold it? Or?
Oh, I don't care. Either way.
I don't know.
I was just trying to. Yeah, your hands. Hey, it's good to see his range here.
Why ask why? We're asking because we're asking people, do you think animals should be treated unfairly, and what we're doing to them currently, do you think that's fair? And, we're out here asking, why do people, or what makes people think it's okay, or like, do they think it's okay to do this to animals? And if they don't, then, maybe they should change. Or
See, I saw God's superior creation. So does that mean because you can do something that you should? Because I've evolved to have a fist. Does that mean now I have the right to walk around punching non-vegans in the face because it gives me pleasure? I was meant to have a fist. I can use it for this just because I can. Does that mean I should? When there's a victim involved, you need to ask, what is in the best interest of the victim? Is what you're doing really in their best interest or only in yours?
should we treat a beautiful garden unfairly? I mean, no, if there's a beautiful garden, don't destroy it.
I mean, if it's someone else's garden, as far as the plants themselves, they're not sentient.
The plants aren't sentient. That's not the whole issue here. I mean, I was going off from purely aesthetic reasons. If it looks nice, maybe and it's someone else's, you probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah. If I have my own beautiful yard, I can trample it all I want. Are we anti-pesticide? I don't like pesticides, but I have no way of voting on that, right? We vote with our dollar. I don't have veganic produce and conventional and organic. I have only organic and conventional. Those are my options. So we can improve how we grow our crops. We can't remove the exploitation in enslaving and exploiting other animals or using other animals without their consent. They are their own selves. It's just the same as if we were to enslave other humans, right? Of course, you're always going to get a benefit as an oppressor. Oppressors always benefit.
Someone said, didn't you guys used to actually break laws for this shit? No.
Some vegans have gotten into some good trouble, and that's totally okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, we haven't personally broken any laws, but I mean, people breaking into slaughterhouses and rescuing animals,
Ridgeland.
I wouldn't say that.
Ridgeland Farms, they're freaking, going in and saving thousands of dogs. They are heroes right now. If anyone can go check them out. I know that it's either happening today or tomorrow. I don't know, but it's happening soon, and there's going to be a lot of dogs saved. And you know what? I encourage those people to do that stuff.
Yeah, they're breaking into a beagle testing facility, and they're rescuing these, innocent dogs from a cruel and horrible fate.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, these dogs didn't ask to be there, and they don't deserve to be there. They've done nothing wrong, and so we have no reason to use them. So they're going in there and, saving innocent lives.
Yeah. They were bred for this purpose, too. They bred these beagles because beagles tend to trust humans even after they've been abused. And they were cutting, they're called like cherries out of their eyes, little bumps in their eyes, with just scissors that are not even sanitized. Just, for testing purposes. And then you just throw them right back into the cage. That's just one example of the torture they went through. They were on wire cages. It was loud. And the thing is, this isn't unique to them. As much as I'm very excited for these dogs to be saved, there are chickens, pigs, goats, turkeys, cows, all living in similar situations, and they also need to be saved. They're equally as sentient and care about what happens to themselves.
I've never met a happy vegan. There's plenty of happy vegans. Oh.
So veganism is the ethical stance against the exploitation of other sentient beings. So if you meet someone that's vegan, that is depressed since going vegan, it's probably because they've learned about the truth. It's not because of some deficiency. It's because they're recognizing the harm in the world and that it can be overwhelming. But we can make change. We make change one person at a time. That's how every rights movement has happened.
Right, and like, also speaking to that, I mean, plenty of vegans are happy, and like, it's a good feeling knowing you're not paying for needless exploitation and suffering. Makes you feel good.
I see someone say, how do you know that plants aren't sentient? From observational studies, we actually have what's called a scientific article. It's Debunking a Myth, Plant Consciousness, and it actually goes over the last 50 years of studies that look into the sentience of plants. And they found that all the studies that claimed that they sang to the plant or they did something nice and the plant responded in some sentient way, those haven't been reliably repeated. Whereas other studies that point out those same phenomenon as just reactions to stimuli, those have been reliably repeated. So the conclusion is plants are not sentient.
Right, and like hypothetically, even if plants were sentient, right now, currently, we, have to kill more plants, quote unquote kill, or destroy more plants to, clear land for these farms that we're, farming these animals for, and clear land to feed all these animals, plus on top of that clearing land, to feed humans. So, I mean, if we were just to shift towards a plant-based diet or go vegan, we'd cut out 2/3 of that. So we'd be killing less plants.
I saw someone say beagles are not eaten. What does that matter, right? The animals that we use don't need to be eaten either. We also use them for their secretions and other things that come off of them. Is that fair? Is it fair to rip things off of them? Is it fair to steal their babies so we can drink their fluids? Is it fair to make them breed with others so that they overproduce something on their body or something that exits their body? Is that fair? Would you tolerate being treated like that? It's not always about the unaliving or the killing. It's about the exploitation.
These go so fast. The animals we eat were born and bred to be eaten. They aren't cows in the wild. I don't know if that's arguing against us or...
Yeah. I keep seeing abortion popping up in there, and I gotta say, you guys, if you really care about the sentience of someone, you should live vegan, right? Because someone who's already born, someone who's already here on Earth, you're stealing their life from them, so you get sensory pleasure, and only a few moments of it. Do you want to jump in here?
Yeah, or did you? I was just gonna say, I mean, like, you guys are calling us inconsistent, but you're freaking out over, something that's, I mean, something that's not even born yet, typically just, a sack of cells, and then and then you're paying for animals to be, bred into existence to be exploited and suffer, for 5 minutes of taste pleasure that you get from eating a hamburger. So, I mean, if you're so outraged about these babies, right, then, I mean, you can be a pro-life vegan. It doesn't matter whether you're pro-life, pro-choice, but, I mean, be consistent.
If not, I also would
Okay.
elephant is.
Okay, I was like, I can add you guys in there so you can get
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
There's nothing I do.
Animals will be competition for our food if you don't. I don't know even. Caring about sentient life versus someone that's not even a someone yet, that hasn't even been born yet, is insane. Okay. A lot of these comments are...
Hi, Daniel. Yeah, I see a lot of trolls here. We're here to open up conversations about animal ethics. We're going to ask the chat to leave their best argument against veganism or perhaps their biggest personal obstacle to going vegan. Leave it in the chat so that we can respond to you there. We're looking to have some in-person conversations as well, once people are comfortable to come on camera. If anybody's curious, we're here in Portland, Oregon at Pioneer Place Mall. Thank you to all the vegans who are here. Thank you to the mods. Somebody says an animal would eat me. Why would I not eat animals? So when's the last time a cow approached you trying to violate your body and consume you? You don't consume cows to prevent them from harming you. That's just not the case. It's not eat or be eaten because I boycotted using animals. I stopped consuming their bodies, but I've yet to be eaten or consumed by another animal. So we are not in the eat or be eaten scenario at all.
Someone said there's scientific studies that plants are sentient. Okay, well then go ahead and paste them in the chat. We'll take a look at them. And if you're really concerned about plants, supposedly, if you're really concerned that they're supposedly sentient, I already explained this, but we kill more plants with the current agricultural system that we have, considering the fact that we got to clear land to make room for, these farms. Then we got to also clear land for crops to feed these animals, and then we also got to clear land for crops that humans eat. So if we just stopped doing 2/3 of that and just ate crops directly and didn't exploit and harm these animals as well as growing crops to feed them, then we'd be killing far less plants. So if you're really concerned about that, just
Yeah, we would dramatically reduce overall crop production. There's a study by Joseph Poor called Reducing Food's Environmental Impact Through Producers and Consumers that demonstrated that we would reduce our total land use by transitioning to a plant-only food system by about 75%. So we'd be growing vastly fewer crops and contributing to vastly fewer crop deaths if we had a plant-only food system. And if there are still any accidental deaths on farms within plant agriculture there, we can implement veganic farming practices to mitigate that harm as well. And if we can do that, why wouldn't we? Somebody said, what about a bear in the comments a while back? So bears don't have access to grocery stores and farmers markets, or they can't grow their own food. So if they can't do these things, they don't have access to an alternative, and they're living in a situation of survival. Someone like me and the people in the chat here, they used to shop at grocery stores and farmers markets, so the violence would be needless. So what justifies needless violence against our animal relatives that we share this planet with? I'm seeing some trolls. Somebody says, I would eat a lab-grown burger if it tasted right. Would you eat a plant burger instead of an animal flesh burger to spare an animal from having their life being stolen from them? What do you value more? Taste pleasure from consuming the flesh of an animal, or the suffering and life of an animal?
Did you wanna? I don't know if you wanna hold
Sure.
I can stand on the side.
Somebody says cat meat is tasty. So I think this is a troll. Most people don't support consuming cats and dogs. Hi, Daniel. I see you. Somebody says we can hunt though, right? So if we can shop at a grocery store and nourish our bodies that way, and if we can get everything we need from plants there, why would we take a gun out into the forest or some other wild area to kill animals?
Someone asked what we do with all the animals that we currently farm, and so we definitely will. I'll admit we definitely run into some problems if the world went vegan overnight, right? So, but that's obviously not going to happen, not most likely to happen. So as people change their habits and the mindset shift, and we would shift away from doing what we do to animals, and people would start to view it as wrong, and started to shift towards a plant-based diet. We breed less into existence, right, over time. So the number of these animals will go down over time until
Until there was no demand for those products, and farmers would stop the practices of bestiality which they use to continue repopulating these animal populations.
Right, and we'd be able to rewild tons of land for wild species, as currently right now the global biomass for land animals, for example, or I guess mammals, I should say, is 96% farmed mammals, and then only 4% of that is wild mammals. So if we stop doing what we did, free up so much land, and we could rewild tons of these species. So.
To anybody who's joined me recently and is curious where we're at, we're in Portland, Oregon at Pioneer Place Mall. We're having discussions about animal ethics. We're asking, is it ethical to exploit other animals when we have another option, when we don't need to? I'm going to ask the vegans to put a 1 in the chat. Vegans put a 1 in the chat. Non-vegans who are open-minded put a 2. And the anti-vegans and the trolls, you can put a 3 or whatever else you're going to put. Everybody who's here, keep double tapping that screen. Share the live as well so we can have a big conversation here. Somebody says, who's going to feed the animals? So we wouldn't breed them into existence in the first place. While their wild counterparts would proliferate with the land that we've now rewilded, there wouldn't be animals being bred into existence that we would need to feed. Does that make sense? Somebody says, I love steak, it's so yummy. Does the taste pleasure you get from consuming the cow's flesh justify violating the cow's body, exploiting them, and stealing their life from them? When you weigh it out, what matters more, your pleasure or the entire life and suffering of an animal?
Animals kill other animals all the time, and we also used to kill each other all the time. We used to do a lot of things to each other that we don't do anymore. So, and like looking to wild animals for the way we should model our behavior, do you think that's a good idea? Animals do lots of things in the wild that we would be like, obviously that's not a good idea. We shouldn't do that. So,
right. Some big cats will kill their babies. And we obviously wouldn't do that as humans. We wouldn't support infanticide within humans because that's unjust. It's unfair.
Right. You can't be selective with what you choose you want to do. If what other wild animal does, or what other wild animals do, is where you get your moral framework, then you should think it's all okay. Eating babies, raping each other. All of that should be okay in your moral view because, wild animals do it. So,
right. You have to be consistent with your ethical frameworks. We're not necessarily here to spar with any of the non-vegans in the chat, but we're here to open up a conversation about animal ethics because frequently in our society, this topic is pushed to the back of our heads. We just don't think about it a lot because it might be a little bit uncomfortable. But we're leaning into what could be an uncomfortable conversation because it's necessary to talk about animals and ethics and whether we should continue contributing to their exploitation when we don't need to. I'm seeing some non-vegans here. I'm going to ask you to put your best argument against veganism in the chat so that we can address them. Somebody says, are you against God, in all caps? So I'm not against God. I'm personally an atheist. But there are no religions which mandate somebody to exploit animals. So for religious people, much like non-religious people, it's just a choice. And why would we choose, if we have another option, why would we choose to violate the bodies of animals, to use them as objects, when we could instead relate to them as individuals to be respected? What would justify the violence? Somebody says, meat tastes good, so does the pleasure or satisfaction that somebody gets justify the violence behind that action? Does satisfaction justify violence? Could you justify kicking a dog, for instance, because it provided you pleasure? Would that be fair to the dog? And if it's not fair to the dog to violate them for pleasure, why is it fair to violate the pig or the cow or the fish for pleasure? What's the difference between the dog and the pig, or the dog and the fish, that makes it okay to be violent towards the pig and the fish, but not okay to violate the dog? What do you think?
Someone said animals can't feel pain, and that's just, I don't know if do you actually believe that, or
right? Like when you spend time with other animals, do you sincerely find that they don't feel pain?
Well, I just, people say that. Please type in the chat. I genuinely want to know, do you actually believe that?
Sounds like that's enough. Awesome. Oh, you're good. Sorry, I didn't mean to push you out.
side. Someone said animals don't feel pain. I asked them if they genuinely believe that.
Oh
So
my
I'm
God.
waiting for their
I mean, we have
response.
evidence that they do. We have the Cambridge Declaration of Consciousness, the New York Declaration of Consciousness. Any animal welfare legislation in any country is recognizing that they feel. They often say that you can't slaughter the animals in front of each other, that you have to stun them beforehand unless you're halal or kosher, and even then you have to follow strict guidelines. So that's recognizing that animals feel. Although admittedly, a lot of these humane regulations are actually more in place to help the workers than they are the animals, but still, they're written in a way that recognizes the animals feel. Plants don't feel.
pain. I was gonna. Yeah.
Yeah,
you
no,
know.
no, please.
Plants don't feel pain. I mean, they don't have a brain. They don't have a central nervous system. They don't have the organs to produce consciousness, right? Which is what we have. Meaning, we have a subjective experience and can feel pain. And I mean, like, the reason why we feel pain from an evolutionary perspective is because, like, we want to survive, right? So having pain, right, is telling our bodies, okay, this is a dangerous situation. We want to get away from this. Plants don't have that.
Yeah. And I saw someone bring in also insects. Yes, we also don't want to exploit the insects, but when you're talking about crop deaths, we have a right to defend ourselves and defend our food because we need to eat something. The bugs fly in there on their own volition. It doesn't benefit the farmers to have the bugs in there, so that's not exploitation. If we were demanding bugs be born in there or we were hunting the bugs, that's a different thing. But what we're doing is protecting our food so that we can eat something. And we can improve how we grow crops. You can't remove the exploitation from farming other sentient beings. Hey, Lewis, good to see you. Plants feel pain. Oh, I thought you were asking me. I was going to say the study that I look at is it's a scientific article. It's called Debunking a Myth, Plant Consciousness. It goes over the last 50 years of studies that look at plant sentience, and they found that plants are not sentient like animals and us. So. What about rodents? Again, these are crop deaths. We can improve how we grow crops around the farms. Exactly. So those systems are out of balance because of animal ag. It's taking up so much land. If we stop using other animals for enslaving them and our benefit, not theirs, if we stop doing that, we could actually reduce our land use greatly. Something like North America and South America combined could rewild. Yeah, we're here in Portland, Oregon, in front of the Pioneer Place Mall on Southwest 5th and Southwest Morrison. And we're just asking open-minded people if they're living in alignment with their own principles.
You want to have a conversation?
I won't be here tomorrow morning, no. No, but later, keep an eye on. There might be some other lives that I show up on today.
No, we only do this once, or one weekend day a week. Either Saturday or Friday,
Yeah.
typically.
I would love for us to do it more often. We're just a small little group, and we use the time that we have available because we're human. We do other things too. Again, abortion is not a issue of exploitation. It's a medical procedure between the person who's pregnant and their doctor. So if you care so much about someone who's sentient losing everything, then why are you demanding that someone be put into a slaughterhouse or exploited for their breast fluids and have their baby stolen or their eggs or their fur, their feathers, whatever? Why would that be fair if you firmly believe that you should be pro-life? Animals eat crops. Non-vegans require so many more crop deaths. Yeah, animals are sentient. Cambridge Declaration of Consciousness, New York Declaration of Consciousness, every animal welfare legislation you can think of. It's good to see Ian. I saw something about a human baby. Do you feel morally superior because you don't eat cats? Oh, that must be to a non-vegan.
Hi, 40-year-old vegan. I see you, David.
Hi, David. Because they're animals, they're different than humans. Humans are animals, though. So what is the morally relevant difference? We both think, we both care about what happens to ourselves. What's the morally relevant difference?
Hi, U-Tops.
You Tops, hey, good to see you.
said you look like you're gonna steal some Starbucks.
What does that even mean? I don't know what that means. Just a happy accident of evolution that nature us the most to taste really good to us, like fats. I don't know what that meant. I'm sorry. I tried to read it.
We tried. If you want to try rephrasing that to where we might be able to make more sense of it, paste it again. Somebody says something about, what about lions? Do you protest against lions eating animals? So lions don't have a grocery store to shop at. They don't have an alternative. So they're living in a situation of survival and necessity. But if we have another choice, what would justify us violating and exploiting other animals when we don't need to?
Yeah. I saw a question about how are we going to feed our companions if we're not going to slaughter animals? So there's actually a lot of certified vegan I shouldn't say vegan, they are vegan friendly, but they're plant-based pet foods that meet all of their nutritional needs, that are certified by the certifications they need to be certified. It's the ACCFO, I think.
AFCO, yeah.
Yeah, AFCO. Oh, AFCCO. So yeah, you can definitely feed your companion without crossing your principles. We do understand there are people that live in this world that will have to cross their principles in order to survive, but veganism is about how you view others. Are you viewing them as a resource to use or as a someone? Because even in a situation of need, when you recognize that there's a someone, you'll resist until you absolutely have to, right?
Somebody said, so lions could survive eating plants? No, that's not what we said. We said they are in a situation of necessity. They have to make that choice. We have another choice. We can choose to not exploit other animals. The human body can thrive on a plant-only diet. And if you have access to a grocery store, if you shop at a Winco or a Walmart, a grocery outlet, I'm not sure what your local grocery store is, but if you have a grocery store, you have access to all the plants you need for your body to thrive. So therefore, participating in exploiting other animals is needless, and it's needless violence. And how would we justify that?
This is the way where someone wouldn't recognize life from a different plant as alive because it didn't meet our definition of life. So we're not talking about life. Plants are alive. We're talking about sentience, which is the ability to experience, not just to collide into other things, but to have an experience and weigh that out. You make a preference on that experience. Did you prefer it? Did you not prefer it? And if you didn't prefer it, you tend to avoid that and you look forward to the next positive experience. Plants don't do that. They don't even move. The reason why we experience even pain is so that we can move away from predators, right? We have mobility so we can move towards food and away from predators. Plants didn't evolve that, right? So they have no evolutionary reason to be sentient. There's no advantage for them.
Somebody says they do your research. So we have done our research and we've come up empty. So if you have a study that demonstrates that plants are sentient, leave the title in the chat and we will be sure to look at that sometime. Because we are interested in evidence if you can provide it. Yeah. We've just reviewed the evidence very recently and we haven't found what you're explaining.
Yeah. And honestly, even if we do find that plants are sentient and we need to care for their welfare, you should still live vegan, as we would reduce greatly how many sentient plants we breed into existence to then suffer to be chewed up into bits in the mouths of the animals you use.
Yeah, we would reduce total cropland by about 75% if we switch to a plant-only food system. So if you're concerned about reducing the alleged suffering of plants, the solution first is to transition to a plant-only food system to minimize that as much as we possibly can.
Yeah, exactly. Best vegan dish? Honestly, beans and rice or some kind of legume and a grain are the best.
I like a tofu stir fry is really good. There's some, I make mac and cheese, burritos, burgers, just like anything that's plant-based. I don't know. I'm not too picky, so you're just going to hear me just name off like, oh, what's next? Lasagna, spaghetti, pasta,
Yeah. We have a lot of pasta in our house. We also we'll just eat beans and rice or beans and it's usually a rice-based pasta. But, I mean, there's so many different things. I mean, I don't think we've eaten the same thing at all. We always just mix whatever's in the fridge and some seasonings. My man's the one that cooks, and he cooks really well. I'm lucky.
Somebody says, but both y'all look unhealthy. So are you a doctor? And did you perform a medical exam on us somehow magically through a telephone screen? It's quite impressive.
It is.
If you could actually reliably do that, I'm sure they would pay you a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be quite a skill.
Yeah, because when I actually have my blood work done, I do it every year just to give myself the peace of mind, because I hear from non-vegans a lot, do you get this nutrient? So just to give myself peace of mind, I test myself about every year, and I've never had a deficiency since I decided to eat plants only. So the proof is in the pudding, so to speak.
I see a lot of people in the chat expressing that their feelings are hurt and that they want us to hurt as much as they hurt because we're pointing out their hypocrisies. I understand that feeling actually that you're having. And I'm telling you that once you do live vegan, you do change your habits to be in alignment with your own principles. You feel better. You don't feel like being a bully anymore to those that are standing up for others' rights that you're violating. I promise you what you're feeling is called cognitive dissonance, and it's uncomfortable, but you can make it stop by living vegan. For the animals, of course.
To anybody who's joined more recently, I see there's some new people here. We're in Portland, Oregon at Pioneer Place Mall, and we're asking folks about animal ethics. Could it be ethical or justified to exploit other animals for food, clothing, entertainment when we have another option, when the violence is needless? Everybody who's here in the live, double tap that screen. Keep double tapping and sharing so we can have a big conversation here. And leave your best argument against veganism in the chat. That's the mission for the non-vegans in the chat, so that we can open up this conversation. We're not necessarily here to argue, but just to talk and examine some of this logic critically and see if it holds up.
So pets specifically, if you're purchasing someone to be born into existence for you to use as a toy, that's exploitation, right? If you're adopting someone who you can provide a rich life for, that's not exploitation. That's actually admirable. I saw a bunch of crosses. If you're fervently religious in the Abrahamic religions, at least go watch Christspiracy. Or I don't know if he's in here, go check out Vegan Heretic. He does videos where he breaks down the Bible and talks about how it relates to veganism.
Somebody says, do you have leather shoes? So we boycott the use of animals for all purposes, which isn't just food. Veganism is a justice movement that opposes exploitation, and that definitely also includes clothing. So if we can choose not to purchase leather products or wool products or these other textiles which are made from the skin and the fur of our animal relatives, why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we just pick up something else or thrift something else? I thrift most everything, so it's not a question of buying, but if I can pick up something else at the thrift store, why wouldn't I?
Exactly. So I'll just go over real quick. Veganism is an ethical stance against the exploitation of sentient beings, right? So we're saying that I don't want to be enslaved for someone else. I don't want to enslave others for me. That's all it is. Honey is not vegan because why do bees make honey? Is it for you or do they make it for themselves and their families?
Yeah, is it their food source? And how much labor do they engage with to produce it? And if you can purchase maple syrup at the grocery store instead, why would you? Why would you purchase the honey? Why violate the bees and demand that they perform all this labor for you when it really should be their food source, when they depend on it to survive?
Yeah. There's even date syrup. Like there's so many other alternatives.
Somebody says animal relatives, ? So when I use the term animal relatives, I'm referring to the fact that humans are also animals. Just like other animals, we share the capacity to desire freedom, to not want to suffer, to not want to be used. So they relate to us in that way. They're similar. We have all of these similarities. So what would justify, for instance, objectifying and exploiting a pig that wouldn't also justify doing that to myself?
Exactly. So what did the bees do before humans came and interacted with them? Was it wasted then too? Or did we now interfere with them, made them mate with individuals they wouldn't normally mate with so that they overproduce, so that their babies were the perfect honey-making slave? Is that fair? Should we keep using someone that we put our purpose onto? Is that fair? Would you tolerate that?
Yeah, bees are sentient. They feel pain, they suffer. They've been shown to play as well. If you're keeping up to date on the latest studies on insect sentience, bees are certainly, according to the recent evidence, they're sentient for sure.
Yeah, they care about what happens to themselves. You don't need to demand that more of them be birthed into existence with the handicap of overproducing honey. And if you want those benefits, you can just go get pollen that's been collected by people. You know, you can go out and collect flowers and eat flowers and get those same benefits.
Everyone who's here, keep double tapping that screen, keep sharing the live. To anybody who's joined more recently and is curious what's going on here, we are live in Portland, Oregon. It's a nice day here, and we're asking folks in person as well as in the chat, what justifies not being vegan? What justifies violating the bodies of animals for their flesh or their secretions or for your entertainment? What justifies violating animals when we have another choice?
Plants have protein too. Honey is not different than eating a flower. Like, there's no reason to eat honey. I've heard people say they use it for allergies, and I'm telling you, there's other alternatives for the allergy aspect. Otherwise, if you're using it as a sweetener, there's sugar, there's syrup, there's date syrup, there's so many different types of sweeteners. You have so many options. You don't need to demand someone be enslaved. It takes one bee their entire life to make 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey. So imagine how many individuals you have to exploit for the amount of honey you use on a regular basis, right? It takes them all that effort and takes just moments for you to consume it.
Somebody says plants are alive too, though. Would you rather put some broccoli or a live dog in a gas chamber? Only one of them's going to gasp for air. Only one of them's going to suffer and wish that this horrible process would end. And it's not the broccoli. So this demonstrates the difference between sentient and non-sentient life. Most of us understand the distinction. It's just sort of a convenient bypass the ethical question. It's a convenient strategy to bypass the ethical question of veganism.
I'm sure a lot of you are going to hear about the Ridgeland Farm beagles that are being rescued either today or sometime soon. I'm pretty sure either today, next couple days. Ask yourself, if you feel like those dogs should be freed, look at the other animals that you're demanding be exploited for you on a regular basis, right? Like, just because someone was bred for a purpose doesn't mean that it's fair to use them for that purpose. They have their own purpose. They care to live and have a good experience.
Somebody says, what about the process of making vegan food? So if you're talking about the production of plants and whether there's crop-related accidental deaths in that system, we also oppose those. There is a difference between direct exploitation, using somebody's body or their secretions directly, and an accidental bit of harm that happens in a field. When somebody's farming crops, they are not intending to kill animals. It happens accidentally. But at the same time that we transition to a plant-only food system, which reduces crop production and crop deaths overall, we can also implement veganic farming practices that mitigate crop-related accidental deaths as well.
No more! No more! Finish!
Actually, veganism isn't bad for the earth, but even if it was, all we're saying is that we are anti-slavery, right? Even if human slavery benefited the planet, it's still immoral and we shouldn't do it. That's all we're saying. Even if it could be better for the planet to use animals, it's not. But even if it could be, they care about what happens to themselves, and it's immoral to force a purpose onto somebody when they can't even consent to what you're doing to them. Yeah.
That's actually what this lady off camera just said. She said, would y'all want to be in a cage, locked up and looked at all day? Like, no, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
And she is actually vegan already. And so she was talking about how, it doesn't make any sense. But she had said, like, the only reason, like, she'll see captivity as, like, okay, is, like, trying to conserve a species. And so I had realized, like, maybe she just hasn't thought about it before. But I was telling her about, like, how that is in and of itself speciesist, because it says, like, we're placing inherent worth on the idea that a certain species should be kept alive or whatever. And I let her know that even if we were the last humans, like, we wouldn't want somebody to just come breed us, right? Because, like, of the sake of our species, like, we would be like, please no, like, just leave me alone and let me die with the earth that I'm supposed to die on. And so yeah, she ended up saying, like, oh, thank you. Like, she never thought of that because, and so I also then asked her about her, like, cultural status, like, where she's from. She's African-American and German. And so I urged her to look into, like, the animist cultures that she literally comes from, that see animals as, who they are instead of who they can be and what they can be used for. So she's feeling really great. She said she's going to share all that she's learned with 26 grandkids and whoever in her family. So yeah, I was like, yes.
So cool.
So yeah, she is definitely moving on in a better way too. So it's just great. It's great to talk to people.
Do you want to talk to the chat? You can
I want to try to rope people in.
I was gonna say I really do want more conversations out here. Yeah. Okay.
They're just all not liking the camera. I don't know. She literally said, she's like, I'm old. She's like, I don't do the camera.
I know. I don't know how to make it like. It's good if you get on camera because if you realize something, you could help others.
Yes.
That's the whole point of putting it on
I
camera.
tried to say like, we don't really like it either.
Yeah, it's like there are people here who want their questions answered, and you might be the voice for them. You know? Yeah.
Okay, that's
Exactly.
a good
Yeah. So we're trying to find a voice for the non-vegans in this chat because, clearly we're not answering your questions fast enough. It is a little bit empty. I think it's because it's so cold though. Like people are they don't want to hang outside. Yeah, cotton factories though. Because they're lying. I mean, some of them it is because they're worried they're going to have their words used against them or they're going to be made to look stupid. It's like, that's not our goal. It's more like you're a regular person. You probably share this principle with us. Show the others that also share this principle that it's okay to recognize you need to change. We just need to see it more. We don't see it enough, right? Exactly. If you want to know where you would have stood on slavery before or civil rights, look at where you stand right now on the slavery of other sentient beings. Do you think it's fair just because they're not thinking about the same things as you or they don't look like you? Mirror talking. I don't know what that means. How much protein a day do you all eat usually? I don't know. Probably something between 50 and 100. I don't know though, because I don't measure. I went off of the vegan Dailey Dozen for a long time, but now we just eat whatever in the fridge because we have our habits down already. So it takes like a month to figure out what you want to do, and then after that, it's just doing these new habits. It's like not even a second thought. You look emaciated. Wow, it's funny. I'm actually slightly overweight because I eat junk food. I do think that if you go demand that someone be born for you to be a pet or a toy or an entertainment, that is exploitation. If you are rescuing someone who needs help and you can provide them a rich environment to grow in and exist in, then I think that's admirable. That's not exploitation. But looking for someone to satisfy your needs and it's not in their best interest, that's selfish and that's exploitation. They're not yours, right? They are themselves. They just need help. From shakes? No, I'm just cold because we're in the shadow of the building and it's only like 40 degrees right now. It was supposed to be warmer, but it did not get warmer. Yes, keeping pets for entertainment is abuse. That's slavery. Jains actually, I'm pretty sure, consume honey still. And it's not about a religion. It's about the victim, right? I'm not doing this to be closer to some god. I'm doing this to not demand someone be exploited for me because I don't want to be exploited. I would hope my oppressors would stop. She looks fatigued. I mean, this is just my face. You're just being mean now. It's funny. Non-vegans are either they discriminate based on your looks or they start to discriminate based on ableism. It's really sad. They go intelligence, they're shaped differently. They don't understand. They don't reciprocate morality. So because they don't think like me, it's okay for me to use their body for my benefits, regardless of what's in their best interest. Bees are exploited because they could be free to hive wherever they want, but they're forced to stay in a box, and they often get their food traded out with some inferior sugar water. And even if they overproduce and maybe the farmer leaves a little bit for them, the bees have to take so much effort to collect that for you, and we have to breed more bees to meet the demand. So you start off with using bees, that starts to normalize the exploitation. You start to think that I'm entitled to their labor, and then it grows. You start to give it to other people. That's how it works every time. Same thing with backyard chickens. When you start using them for yourself, you're normalizing it in your mind to use them, to think that they are, buying them in the first place is just like buying a pet, right? You're demanding someone be born into existence for you to be the perfect slave for whatever need you have, and that's not fair. Bees are sentient. Yes, you can look this up. They like to play with balls, in fact. And they communicate with each other. They tell each other where the best flowers are. Music, do you have an argument to substantiate that? Oh, I see it. Someone's, okay. Hey, Neil, what's up? Well, I can't communicate to the bees, but I can communicate to their oppressors. And I can ask their oppressors, and those that demand the oppressors continue to do what they do, I can talk to those people. So I'm talking to you right now. They do actually artificially inseminate bees, vegan engineer. You're absolutely right. They will take the female queen, and they have these little pinchers that hold her vagina open, essentially her thorax. And they have to squish something like 6 to 20 bees, drone males, to get enough semen to impregnate her. But not all bee farmers do this, but it is a common practice. Leave bees alone.
Yeah,
In the chat.
It's going well.
14s. They did not.
Oh, they didn't want to be on camera? Darn. I mean, we really shouldn't talk to teenagers anyway.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah. I'd
Well,
rather.
I say teens, but it's honestly anybody that like looks my age. I just call it
Oh,
teens.
gotcha.
so I don't-
Okay. Yeah. Minors, they don't know. They don't fully understand consent, so that's why it's hard to talk to underage people unless their parents are around, because they don't actually understand what's right or wrong yet. It's fine that they learn. That's why they're existing, right?
Yeah,
They
just
need
give
to
them a
learn.
card, I'm like,
Yeah, that's a good idea. Give them a card. They can watch our live for sure.
Can choose what content they absorb.
Yeah. All these loose facts. I don't know what you mean by loose facts. How will you use SD cattle land for food production? Oh, so if we actually stop using all animals, like farming them, whatever, we don't have to grow their food. So the ag land that we would save is the equivalent of North America and South America combined could be allowed to rewild, while at the same time feeding more humans than exist right now. And that's called Reducing Food's Environmental Impacts Through Producers and Consumers. Go read that study. It's the largest of its kind. It's actually a meta-analysis. It looks at thousands of farms in hundreds of countries. We're dedicating 83% of our ag land to using animals, 30 of that specifically for cattle. And if we stop doing that, we could grow human food in all the places that we grow cattle food.
Someone says I can't afford a vegan diet, and well, I mean, vegan food actually is typically cheaper. Like if you just look at whole plant foods, obviously produce, fruits, veggies, beans, rice, lentils, legumes, bread, all that's super cheap. And even, I always forget, is it Oxford that did it? The Oxford study?
Yeah. For the EPIC Oxford study, it found diets are 30% cheaper.
Yeah, vegan diets or plant-based diets. So if you just stick to whole plant foods, super cheap, super easily accessible to most people. You can find them at stores, right, or at pretty much any market. So yeah, I mean, it depends on what you eat. Like a vegan diet can be expensive if you buy expensive things.
Any diet can be expensive.
Right.
Right? It depends on how you want to do it. The study found, though, if you can get everything you need, be healthy, and be satiated, and still save money. So I'll tell you, lentils, those will fill you up real fast.
Right, and for example,
Yeah, they're not objects.
I like, lentils. I eat a lot of lentils and beans, rice as well, brown rice. I can get this all at any store, super cheap. Honestly, if you buy 2 bags of, not even that big of rice, but I don't know exactly the size, but 2 bags of that, I don't know, a couple cans of beans, some lentils, you could probably, you could feed yourself for a good week. You can make tons of rice, keep it in your fridge for, throughout the week, make tons of beans, lentils. If you just set a little bit of time to just maybe meal prep, you'll have tons of meals throughout the week. Again, super easy, super cheap.
I saw someone say, why do pigs taste so good? What pigs taste like we're finding is similar to what humans taste like. We have written accounts of this, so just understand that someone tasting good doesn't justify enslaving or exploiting them, right? Just because I taste like bacon doesn't give you the right to exploit me. And that's what we're saying. Regardless of what anybody tastes like, they're sentient and they care about what happens to themselves. Posh kids. Actually, most of us are pretty poor. We're just using the time that we have available to stand up for those that are even more vulnerable than us.
Someone said it's it's impossible. Way too much fiber, and you all. I mean, it depends on what you eat. If you're eating tons and tons of fiber, yeah, maybe you shouldn't do that. But like,
There's things that you can eat, like tofu, tempeh. You can get wheat gluten, right? There's also protein powders. There's different options for you. Like, the question is, do you want to respect animals, or do you think it's okay to think of an animal as an object that should be used for you, right? That's the difference in mindset.
and also if you're worried about getting your nutrients in, you can also use. I mean, we have resources.
Soy chunks.
Yeah, we have resources on the anti-animal use website, but there's an app called Cronometer. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but I use it sometimes, and I'm able to track and find how much I'm getting of certain nutrients. And like my regular diet, for example, that I've eat throughout the day, like I exceed all the nutrients you need for a day. So it's not that difficult to get it, and I don't even eat anything crazy. I eat pretty much whole plant foods and whatnot. So.
There's a lot of vegan bodybuilders and athletes that you can look up. Check out the documentary Game Changers. You'll see a lot of them. There's like Patrick Baboumian, Nimai Delgado, Brian Turner. Actually, I don't know if he's actually in that documentary. Just another great bodybuilder. But yeah, you can get everything you need. If you want to get really ripped, really healthy, whatever you want to do, you can make it your own. But that's not why we're here. We're not here to talk about what your benefits are. We're here to say the animals don't want to be used. You can get everything you need. Stop using them, live vegan. You know that you don't need, or that we shouldn't exploit others when we can avoid doing so. If I had a dog here and I'm really bored, I'm like, I'm going to kick this dog for fun, and I need a little exercise anyway. I haven't been moving. Would you find that fair? I'm gaining benefits, right? I'm using them. I'm a superior animal to them. Does that make it right for me to kick the dog for fun? Yeah, abolish slavery. It doesn't matter how you benefit.
Somebody said, isn't it like natural though? I get factory farms are inhumane, but I feel like small local farms are hunting, and hunting are okay. Many animals hunt other animals. Okay, well, first off, I mean, do you look at what other animals do as a justification for your behavior? I mean, animals do a lot of things in the wild.
You can come in a little more if you want.
Animals do a lot of things in the wild that we wouldn't, deem as okay and use that as a justification for our behavior. And the problem is like, just because, I mean, yeah, there's obviously the industrial farming, and then maybe there's these small local farms, but I mean, at the core of it, you're still exploiting and ultimately taking an animal's life when you don't need to. So I mean, how is that humane to do to someone? If you don't need to do it and you have other options, then why do it?
Regardless of what Jesus did, what do you need today from fish that you can't get from other sources? Just because you can do something, does that mean you should? Just because someone says you can abuse someone, does that mean that you should, regardless of what's in the best interest of the one you're beating? Again, so if you're really religious, go check out Christspiracy. It's a really great documentary. It talks about how Jesus actually lived his life. He might have been even one of the first ALFs for the Den of Thieves was actually called the Den of Violent Ones. Also go check out Vegan Heretic. He's just a great YouTuber that breaks down the Bible in relation to veganism, and actually how, veganism is more in line with what how God wants you to live.
Right, and like, I'm assuming if we're talking about Christianity, and
Yeah,
I think
the
most
Abrahamic
religions,
yeah.
like, they don't mandate you that you need to consume animal flesh, right? It's not mandatory. It's not like there's a scripture verse that says you need to eat animal flesh. So if you don't need to do it, then why do it, right? And I mean, I guess speaking of Christianity, or I guess Judaism as well. I'm not super versed in religion, so I don't know.
Abrahamic religions,
right. The Garden of Eden, right? I mean, it was God's perfect place, right? And that was completely vegan, right? There was no, nobody was killing anybody, right? And then until the fall of man, and that's when sin entered the world, and we started doing all this.
So it's like
stuff
this:
to each other.
vegan, right? And then sin enters the world, and we live in sin. And then the end times, which is vegan again, and heaven. So we're like surrounded by veganism if you believe in that religion.
Right, I don't know. Again, I'm not a religious scholar or anything, but I believe there's a verse in the Bible that says At the end of times, the lion shall lay with the ox, something like that.
We'll eat the hay with the ox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, that. So, I mean, there will be no killing, no, nothing like that in God's perfect in paradise, right? So,
So like, why wouldn't the middle part? Remember, we're surrounded by veganism. Why wouldn't, when you're living in sin, be a big test? Why don't you think that God is testing you in the face of pleasure, doing the right thing, and not demanding someone be exploited for you? I just don't understand people using their religion to justify harming others when they don't need to, right? That's just what every oppressor has done. Why are you repeating this mistake? So again, if you don't want to listen to us talk about it, I mean, you're bringing it up. So it will be talked about when it's asked about. But if you want to, reach out to an actual source, check out the Vegan Heretic. He is vegan and Christian, right? And he talks about the Bible. He breaks it down. There's other vegan Christians on YouTube as well. You can find them, hear about what they're talking about. But the point is, regardless of what your text says, we know that animals feel and that they care about what happens to themselves, right? And that's all that matters when it comes to respecting others. I care about what happens to myself, regardless of how smart I am, who I'm related to, what I look like. It doesn't matter, right? I'm someone having an experience. I want to keep having experiences.
I like that. Eat beans, not beings.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Not, yeah.
We're here in Portland, Oregon, in front of the Pioneer Place Mall on Southwest 5th and Southwest Morrison, and we're hoping to get a few people to be interviewed. So far, people have been kind of more camera shy. I had one guy on here so far, and he was just being kind of a butt, so I moved him along. But his friend was apparently very receptive off camera, which is funny. I hope that they talk to each other, because I think that guy that I was speaking to was just being disingenuous. I do think he has a good heart. He just didn't want to show it on camera.
Someone said animals are meant to be eaten, and says who? I mean, technically, according to nature, you're meant to be eaten too. Right?
We're animals.
If you believe that, I mean, you should believe that humans are also meant to be eaten. So what's stopping you from consuming humans as well?
Oh,
Don't do that, by the way. I'm just using that as a hypothetical.
Yeah, we're not here promoting cannibalism. We're trying to say what's wrong with cannibalism is the same reasons that's wrong to consume animals, right? Maybe in a time of need, it's understandable, but it's still harmful and immoral to the victim. Are those yours? Oh.
Yeah, I just said right there.
Oh, okay.
It's on the ground. So
I just didn't know if you wanted them. I mean, I just put them in my pockets where I have mine. It's cold out here, so we got the hand warmers going. The wind's starting to pick up a little bit. So we don't need to use anybody's muscle. If you mean the word meat as in food, then we can just eat bread or whatever you want to call meat. I don't know what the terms are in the Bible. I know there's words that they use for just meaning food that have been translated to mean things that mean different things now. So meat, bread, tofu. Yeah, plants. Seaweed. So again, veganism is an ethical stance against the exploitation of sentient beings. Because I don't want to be enslaved, I don't want to demand others be enslaved. That's all it is. Doesn't that align with your own principles? There are no dinos here. Even though animals in the wild may do things that we deem immoral, that doesn't give us a permission slip to also do those things, right? Other animals unalive each other unjustly. They'll commit infanticide, right? We wouldn't say that those are moral just because other animals do that. Oh, what's up? Hey, Chip. Welcome in. Thanks for showing up. It's good to see you.
Tell that to a lion. Are you a lion?
Exactly. We can communicate with you.
Also, I mean, you're being very selective in so if you're looking at what wild animals do, right, as your justification for consuming animals, you're being very selective, because if you're going to take the position that, okay, anything that wild animals do is moral, then you should be okay with eating your babies. Let's say you have a baby, you should be okay with consuming them. You should also be okay with raping others, because, I mean, That's what wild animals do. So
As long as the oppressor is gaining a benefit, right? Who cares about the victim? That's what non-vegan logic is you only care about your sensory pleasure that lasts maybe 15 minutes over the experiences of your victims that had to endure exploitation in order for you to use them.
what do you have to say about the bioavailability of protein? Because plants, proteins, and protein from...
Protein is protein.
I was going to say,
Doesn't matter the source.
I'm no nutritionist, but I mean, as far as I'm aware, I don't... Yeah, right. Protein is protein. There's plenty of complete plant proteins that you can get. Tofu, tempeh. I'm pretty sure tempeh.
Thank you, David.
I don't know. I'm not a nutritionist by any means.
Yeah. Even beans have a lot of protein in them, right? There's protein shakes. There's pea protein. There's vegan meats that have been made with like pea protein or other proteins that are vegan, right? Like you have so many options.
I was gonna say so many protein sources. You can combine foods. Like I always say this, but like brown rice, black beans, even lentils.
Any legume and a grain.
Right, or like I eat a lot of whole grain bread. I put hummus, even peanut butter creates a complete protein. So
Peas are legumes. Or
really,
I
didn't know that.
Not peas. Peanuts are legumes. Excuse me.
I did not know that.
Yes.
So, but there you go.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I didn't know that either, that peanuts are a type of legume. But yeah, any legume and a grain will make a complete, an even amount of the complete proteins you need. Awesome. Yeah, please check out what Chip just posted. It looks like he put, I don't know if those are study resources. Are those other vegans? I see high protein Instagrams. Oh, those are other people that have high protein diets. Awesome. Thank you, Chip. Please go look at Chip's comment. Go check out those accounts. Because you can get all the protein you need on a plant-based diet. Super easy. Chip is another example, actually. He is ripped. You can go check him out. He's another great activist that goes out and interviews people.
Someone said, I guess you can make tofu taste any way you want. It just always tastes like garbage.
Well, then you make garbage tofu, right? Like, season it.
I was going to say, it sounds like you're just not a very good cook. There's plenty of ways you can make tofu that tastes amazing. And if you don't like tofu, that's fine. There's tons of other things you can eat. Tempeh.
Really easy thing, because a lot of people now have air fryers, is just to cut it up into little cubes, shake it around, and maybe some cornstarch, salt, a little garlic and onion, throw it in the air fryer for a few minutes. Or if you want, you can put a little oil on that too to make it have even a little more fatty to it. Put it in the air fryer for like 20 minutes, maybe 30. Delicious. A little crunchy on the outside. It's got soft on the inside. Flavorful AF.
Well, and like what do you eat animal flesh with typically? You eat it with spices, seasonings, right? It doesn't taste good. Probably just plainly cooked or raw. Like, you have to you season food to make it taste good. So
yeah. So I saw someone saying there's like a bunch of we have a lot of food waste. Like, we can just compost that, right? I don't think that we need to go feed that to other animals. That's not a justification for breeding other animals into existence. And we don't just feed them our food waste. We actually grow food for them. And a big study has been, or it's actually a meta-analysis has been done on this, one of the largest in this topic. We use 83% of our land currently to raise other animals to use, right? And if we stop doing that, we could feed more people and rewild more land, the equivalency of North America and South America combined, and feed 10 billion people. There's only 8 billion right now. So using animals is actually quite selfish for humans to do, not only for the other animals that have to be exploited, but to the humans that don't have access to healthy foods.
We got somebody who's going to come back.
Oh, yay! Good. Do you guys want to talk to the chat?
Yes, I want you to try to get some people to... Oh. Someone says, do you think you're going to change human nature? Well, what is human nature? Is human nature to, have, the choice to do things and, make moral decisions and stuff like that, or try to act in ways that are better and, make better decisions and do better? Or is human nature just to, kill and eat others' flesh? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. Someone says over 5,000 people die from choking on food in the U.S. annually, meat, including steak, being the leading cause. That's actually pretty funny. I mean, not funny, because, they're choking on the flesh body parts of, other animals, but, I don't know why it's funny, actually. It's just funny. Humans don't have the teeth for meat. Oh, yes! Okay, see, yeah, that's why it's funny. It does make me laugh, yeah. B12. You get B12 from a supplement and all of your other nutrients on a plant-based diet.
Someone said plant veggies are vitamin, not pro. I don't know. What?
I don't know. We get some nonsense up in here. Someone says we're ignorant morons. Well, what's ignorant about it? Let us know. Like, instead of just calling us a name, let us know what exactly is it with veganism or with it being anti-exploitation that you have a problem.
Someone said we are omnivores, and being omnivorous does not mean you need to consume, meat or flesh and plants. It means you can consume one or the other. So, I mean, if you have the option, why not just consume the one that doesn't cause a sentient animal to, be exploited and killed, to have their throat cut? I mean, would you like that? Would you like that done to you? I don't think so. So,
yeah. And like, what is this in your mind that is saying that animals are okay to use for anything? Like, why are you like, what, please tell me, what arbitrary trait are you using to justify the, conditions and the mindset that you have towards animals? You should change it. And especially because what you're having is, or the mindset you have right now is used to justify so much harm. Like, so if you are really a good person, or want better for the world, and better for other sentient beings who deserve moral consideration, you would go vegan, or you would at least learn about changing your mindset on animals.
Someone said B12 can't be supplemented, and that's just completely false. It absolutely can be supplemented. It's
just like 100%.
I was gonna say, look up B12 supplement and you'll find it.
Yeah.
You can also, I mean, if you're concerned about a supplement, you don't have to use a supplement. I mean, you can get it through foods like nutritional yeast. I eat tons of nutrition. I do take a multivitamin that has B12 in it, but I also eat tons of nutritional yeast, so I definitely have no problem, getting my B12 in. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. I have no issue meeting any of my nutrient goals or whatever, and I don't count it. I don't count anything. I actually don't follow. Like, I recommend Dailey Dozen for people who like really need it, or are interested in that level of planning. But I just am not, unfortunately. So I just kind of eat enough plants, get hopefully what I need, and I don't feel sick, and I feel great. So it's fine.
Right. If you want to count your nutrients and stuff, you can just use the app Cronometer. Just download that. I'm pretty sure it's for any phone that you may have. I'm pretty sure you can get it on any phone, but just download that, and then you can look at all your nutrients. Just type in what you eat throughout a day, and just make sure you're getting, the nutrients. And I do it sometimes, and my regular diet that I consume, I actually exceed all the nutrients I need. So.
Right. Yeah, so there's so many apps too like you can use. There's so many methods and resources that help people live a plant-based diet, and in that case also helping them live vegan. So someone says what's ignorant is that you think you're above meat eaters and think you can talk down to them, when in fact we were made to eat meat as well. Well, what's crazy is I actually never said that. I don't think I'm above you. Neither does anybody here, actually. We all just believe that we have the same moral beliefs and values, and that if we were living in according with our values, that we would not be eating animals for food, considering them as anything less than us. We would, get rid of that speciesist logic, right? And so we're just trying to hold you accountable. Oh, no, I'll let you go.
Okay, cool, awesome, perfect. I'm gonna give you that sign. So I'll have you stand right here in this box. You have your toes right there. Awesome. Okay. All right, so you can kind of see yourself right there, and I'll give you a card too, so that you can watch this later. Okay. Because we're live on YouTube. You just scan that, and it should say when we're live in the corner. Just tap it. You'll see our YouTube. Yeah. My name's Anna. What's yours?
My name's Caesar.
Caesar?
Yes.
Lovely to meet you. We already started to kind of talk a little bit. Okay. So the question is, perfect. Should the powerful, whether they're strong or smart or whatever their advantage is,
the powerless?
Yeah, should they oppress the powerless?
It's okay to have power, but it depends on how you share it.
Yeah, you shouldn't abuse it.
You could abuse it.
Yeah, and you shouldn't though, right? You shouldn't have the right to do that.
And from my experience, like doing it my way don't work. Yeah. Until I found God, and that can help a lot with the oppression, because we got a spiritual warfare going on, and that adds a lot to depression and oppression today,
For sure.
and we're living that today. That's what I believe.
No, for sure. And we don't find it fair, right? We would like
No.
we would like this to stop. In fact, yeah. So then my next question, this will feel like a trick, but it's not. I'm
it's
just
fine.
trying to set the
I respect
paradigm. Awesome. And if you feel uncomfortable, let me know. We can change course here. So what do you think about, I don't have it, pointing over there. What do you
No,
think
it's
about the animals that we use for food, clothing, entertainment, like the circus or the zoo? Would you agree that we as humans are the powerful oppressing the powerless?
We are above the animals
Yeah, we
in
do
the
have
kingdom.
power.
We're like our fingers. We're that, not the middle one. I'm not pointing, but a little bit of a rank.
Right,
like
we have an
in the-
advantage in some
in
aspects.
evolution, or however everyone wants to believe it. But yeah, so we could abuse that too, honestly.
Yeah. Do you think that we should have the right to do that?
No,
Yeah, I agree.
I honestly don't.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of the word vegan?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have.
What do you understand it to mean?
I used to judge it until I tried it,
Okay.
and there's really nothing wrong with it,
Yeah.
because I like to have a beef sandwich, but I don't want to go out and kill my own cow to eat it. So I feel like a hypocrite.
Well, so what
Well,
do you
I
think veganism means?
It's actually more healthy, and they're
It can be, but veganism, so what it means is an ethical stance against the exploitation of other sentient beings. If you did do like a whole food plant-based diet,
Yes.
it can absolutely be healthier for you and even cheaper. But veganism itself isn't even focused on those perks. It's more focused on the animals because they're a sentient individual. Do you know what sentience means?
no.
That's okay. I had to look this up too. Sentience
fine.
is just the ability to have a subjective experience. So when we experience something, we weigh it out. We make a
Yes.
preference, whether we liked it or not. And if it wasn't in our preferences, we tend to avoid those things, right? We avoid
Yeah.
suffering, and we look for the next positive experience. And we want to keep living to find that next experience, right?
Yes.
So that's what other animals have. Can you think of anything that animals provide for us that would maybe justify us exploiting them the way we do?
Like in a protection way, maybe?
So self-defense is understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, if someone's
I would,
coming at me, I'm
like-
going to defend myself. Do you think there's anything that justifies us farming them or maybe using them in zoos or circuses?
No, because we need to make a cycle. That's what keeps the life producing, is life and death. So I'd have to
Do
say,
you think that we need to perpetuate that, though? Do we need to farm them? Is there something we need
No.
from that?
well, with today's environment, it'd be hard because, like, say, what we have, like with the city, it'd be hard to take them to the waterfront. Man, now we're full of gooses over there,
Yeah.
or geese. Gooses, but it's the
I don't know.
same thing. Right?
Yeah.
Two, more than two.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really can't. I can't debate nothing with you.
Oh,
on
no,
that.
that's okay. I'm not
No,
trying to
and
make
I'm
you-
not,
Yeah,
yes.
I'm not trying to put you on your back. It's more like...
And
I
I'm
think-
trying to think honest questions.
Yeah, you
I
sound like an
really
honest
am.
person. I think, so I'll tell you why we're here. We're here because I think that most people share this principle. I think
Yeah.
you're a good person. You sound like an honest, good person.
Thank you.
And I think that most honest, good people agree that if someone was like kicking a dog,
Yeah.
right, that we would stop, we'd intervene. And that even if the person's like, well, I'm doing it for my benefit, for my exercise, it's still not okay. That dog is experiencing something, right?
Has
And-
some kind of feelings or something.
Exactly.
Emotions or
Yeah.
yes.
So when we think about the other animals we use, we're often not around cows, pigs, chickens, fish
Yeah.
even, right? We're not
Right.
around them a lot. Dogs and cats, we tend to know a little more because we're around them more often.
Yes.
But we're finding that the other animals that I mentioned, they're no different than the dogs and the cats.
Yeah.
So would you think then that veganism, where you have a stance against the exploitation of other sentient beings, aligns with your own values?
Man, I'm gonna have to sit down and think about that one.
Yeah, I mean, you sound like an honest person. That's how I felt too when I was presented this
You know, I
information.
never. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
pretty intelligent.
Well, I'll ask you one last question.
Okay.
I'll let you go. How many more animals do you want exploited for you?
Exploit it, like
Yeah.
put out, like
Yeah. In your preference, how many do you want put in that?
I would
position
say
for
the
you?
the American bald eagle, and the elk, and the honey badger, and squirrels are honestly my favorite that would need the most protection.
Yeah. Do you want to
Yes.
put anybody though in exploitation, or do you want to
No.
make anybody be exploited for you?
No, I don't want to exploit.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say is that we share that. Yeah,
Yes.
that's the honesty how we feel, because we don't want to be exploited, right? We don't find
Right.
it fair, and when we are exploited, we want it to stop.
Yeah.
So that's just all I'm saying is like, just treat the other animals how you would want to be treated, So on that card, there's actually resources on how to live vegan. If you go to our website, if you just scan that, or you go to our website, there's something called "See What I."
Because I did like they did on the train asking about what do you think about an animal, and everyone else is turning them down, and I answered it. So it took me a while. I missed my stop, but but I bombed the hill back down.
Okay.
Then I bumped into you.
Yeah, you got a sweet ride.
So I don't know. That's what made me think for this Friday.
Would you be willing to watch a documentary on there?
Yes.
Okay, so like I said, if you go to our website and you just click on "See What I Find," 3-minute documentary.
Really?
Just watch it 3 minutes.
I'm probably gonna do it while I go to the water.
That's awesome. Just ask
Honestly.
yourself if you want to keep supporting that. And
will.
you live in the most vegan area, but on the
Right.
backside, just shows you how to get everything you need on a vegan diet, or a plant-based diet, I should say. Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you guys.
Hell yeah! Thanks for. What was your name? What was your name again?
Caesar.
Caesar.
Like the pizza.
Thank you so much for stopping by. You're amazing. You have a
You're
good rest of
amazing
your
too.
day.
God
Thank
bless
you. Yeah, you as well. That was amazing. That was great. I'm glad we had a good conversation, good back and forth. Let's see. How's the chat doing, you guys? Oops, I keep hitting profile picture.
What?
I don't know. I missed it. Don't treat animals like objects. Exactly.
Yeah,
Be
don't.
smart. Be vegan.
Are you against growing meat in
You
a
want me to take this
lab?
from you?
Yes.
Awesome. Do you want to chat?
Well, actually, yeah, I got you.
Okay. Actually, I'll take the blue.
Against meat in a lab, honestly, I don't know where I stand on that, to be honest. There's I don't know. Depends. Is it ethical? Do they exploit anybody in doing so? Then, as long as nobody's getting exploited, I'm good. All right. Someone says that is the whole issue. It's based on emotions. I guess why don't you hurt other humans, right? And if you try to argue with other people, saying, hey, you shouldn't hurt other humans, you're like, oh, it's just emotion-based argument, we're just talking about emotions, it's all emotionally fueled. Is that actually doing anything to negate the arguments, or is that just a dodge? Someone says, I feel so sorry for the broccoli and cauliflower she's just consuming like it's nothing. You would probably feel even more at odds with the fact that people are consuming actual people, animals, our fellow animals. Someone says, who are you? I said, I'm Elvin. Someone says, when you get drafted, you're not going to eat them? No, if I got, put in a situation where, my autonomy is being taken away and they're telling me I have to go somewhere and do some things that I don't want to do. One, I'm not going to do any of those things. And two, I would probably not, I would probably just go on hunger strike, to be honest, until I die. Why do you keep popping up on my feed? Get a job. It's because you interact. You're here. You're liking the live, I guess, and all that the algorithm sees is that you love this. You love us. You want to learn more. Someone says, I must go now. I'll see you. Bye, vegan engineer. Right. Someone says, hi, everybody. God bless y'all. Vegans or normal? Vegans or normal, girl? No. Is it spelled? Oh, my name is. Oh, it's spelled Elvan. Elvan. Yeah, Elvin. I never really mind misspellings, though. I've never really been attached to my name. It's never been something that I really valued that much. Just because I'm the third, I don't know. But I also think that's cool because Mel was the third. Anyway, what's this about? We are in Portland, Oregon. We're talking about oppression with a lot of people. Actually a lot of people off camera. We haven't had many on-camera conversations today, but we're talking to people about oppression. We're trying to get people to rethink their ideas of, why they, put animals' interests lower than theirs or other animals, right? Because humans are animals, and we all should be living in, alignment with our morals. So, if you ever are eating a burger or, that's made of somebody's flesh, or, a drumstick that's somebody's flesh, somebody's leg, right? Or you're going to the zoo and you're feeling bad because you can see that they are having zoochosis. These are all moments of cognitive dissonance that were before I was vegan, right? I would turn my brain down and say, okay, I don't care as much. But it's actually not true. You should care, and you should continue to learn why you're feeling like you shouldn't and where that feeling comes from, because we're not You know, we don't have to live off of other people's flesh. We can eat plants and thrive on those. And then, like, you know, nobody else is here for our use. Like, you don't have to live your life using other people, you know, to get what you want or putting your interests above theirs. Like, you can find alternatives, you can find options, you can do your literal best, you know, your actual best, and try not to use anybody or exploit anybody, and change your mind on whether or not people are less than you. Because the same justifications people use to justify eating other animals, eating non-human kin, right, is the same justifications people use to justify slavery and other isms. Someone says flawed logic where? Why are you so keen on trying to find flawed logic in what is not being for the, exploitation or the use of sentient beings? Someone says, can you explain? Oh, they're talking to David. Thank you, all you vegans having conversations in the chat with non-vegans who have questions. Someone says, are you against wild animals eating each other? It's so common. Happens. I feel like I just answered that question, but we'll answer it again. You know, animals who are in the wild or in you know, situations of predation, right? They don't have a choice, right, whether to do that or not. And actually, you know, I tend to think, what about the humans? What about the humans who have the option to go to the grocery store or the farmer's market, or, you know, even help some of the animals who are in predation, like out of state, right? So I say, what about humans? You say, what about them in the wild trying to eat each other? What about humans who don't have to eat others, but they do? It's really horrific. You know, and the reason that they justify it is animals are less than us when we are animals, and it doesn't matter if somebody's less than you or has different abilities than you, right? You should still treat them the same way and give them the same moral consideration. And again, that's not saying that, you know, we have to teach pigs to read, because we recognize that, you know, reading for humans is something that, you know, is beneficial to their life or can help at the moment. It's just saying that, you know, the same way that we want children to thrive, we try to help our other, you know, animal kin thrive as well, which includes seeing them as their individual person. Someone says, how do we ethically grow crops when they...
you out.
Oh, perfect.
Go talk to Cooper. Hey guys. Smart people are vegan. I agree. I saw the highest IQ vegans were interviewing people in Amsterdam today. Abortion is actually not a topic about exploitation. It's a medical procedure that is something to be decided upon between the person who's pregnant and their doctor. Exactly. Don't be a bully. Live vegan. If you wouldn't want to be exploited for someone else's benefit, why do that to somebody else when you can avoid doing so? Oh yeah, well, we're talking about stuff, so it's okay. Elvin was needed in something else right now. Reason I didn't see your question. How far back? How do we ethically grow crops when they destroy animals' habitats? Well, if we actually stopped using animals, we stopped farming them, stop exploiting them, we don't need to grow their food anymore. So we reduce our land use by 75%, our agricultural land use by 75%. That's the equivalency of North America and South America combined. So we don't need to mow down more wild land to make food. In fact, we can rewild land and still grow more food for humans, feed 10 billion humans. So that's how we can grow plants without knocking down other animals' territory. So when you see someone as a something or a resource for you, then that's the problem. So a wild chicken and her eggs, those are hers, regardless if they're unfertilized. They're not yours to take. They're hers. What do we do with all the cows and chickens? Well, if the world went vegan, that means we care about their experiences. So we would come together and take care of them until they naturally passed away. The longest lived ones are probably dairy cows or just cows in general, and they might live to be like 20 to maybe 40, but there would be a great drop off in the first 8 years because we've literally bred the cruelty into their bodies, and they honestly can't really hold up very long, which is the most heartbreaking thing. But we just care for them. That's what we would do.
Hey. We reflected and we're going to stick it out here.
Okay.
But we can always still say something else.
Sounds good. All right. Did you want to jump back in? I stole it from you.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Well, what do they need?
Oh, they don't need anything. I was just curious. I was more, what do you need?
It's like, what are they asking?
Oh, the same old. Plants feel pain. Yes.
Oh, hello, Sebi. Hi, Vegan Anthem.
So, reason, what do we do with all domesticated animals, let them suffer in the wild? Reason, I just answered this. Were you here? I just said if the world went vegan overnight, then that means that we care about the interests of the animals. We put them on sanctuaries and care for them. That's what we would do. There wouldn't be farms anymore. There'd be sanctuaries, caring for those individuals' best interest.
It's like,
Not practical. So you're telling me that we should have kept human slavery because what were they supposed to do, right? They didn't know how to live in a society. You're just supposed to let them go? Yes. These individuals, we've literally bred handicaps into them. So it's our responsibility to care for them. I don't think that releasing them into the wild would be the smartest choice. If it was our only option, I'd say let them have their best. I'd rather try to survive out in the wild than be in a cage. But what we can do is provide them the safe space that we should provide them because we're the reasons that they exist. It's our fault that they have to endure anything. So we should give them the best experience we can.
yeah. And if you're admitting, like, getting to that point is even good, then you're already agreeing that, just the inherent breeding and slaughtering of all these animals is bad. So I'm glad you're there. And maybe if you could take that thought and, really think on it and, re-examine why you see animals or other animals, right, as, somebody who we should do that to.
Yeah, Jesus was probably vegan, if not just, no, he's probably vegan. In the, it's practicable and possible. I believe that Jesus, if he was a real man, was vegan. He overturned the tables. He was the first ALF, Animal Liberation Front. Real quick, I do want to bring up, I don't know if you guys ever heard or if you've heard about the recent rescuing and liberation of the beagles at Ridgeland Farms. Right? It's such a great heroic moment, and more dogs will be rescued. And we're all anticipating that them being saved, their liberation, because they don't deserve to have things cut out of their eyes or to be abused, live in wire cages in a room that's loud, right? So if that does ring in your heart to be true, that they should be rescued from that, consider the other animals that you're demanding to be in that similar situation. Chickens are often kept in wire cages. Pigs are kept in stalls that they can't even turn around in. Often cows are all packed in a tight space and they don't have grass. They're just walking around in mud. Mm-hmm. These are just welfare issues, though, even on the best farms, right? I wouldn't want to be enslaved even on the nicest farms because I value my freedom and my autonomy.
And we can easily see in so many ways that animals feel the same. They go away from any danger that they can recognize, right? And we see that it doesn't matter whether or not how their skin looks or, the fur or whatever, how they breathe. If they breathe water or air, our interests are all the same, to stay alive and to not be used.
Winter Flower, I see your comment to the 40-year-old vegan that people are vegan for the environmental reasons, not moral reasons. Well, I would argue for you to go check out where the word veganism comes from. It does not stem from environmental, it stems from the ethical perspective. Even if it was better for the environment to use other animals, right? We wouldn't use animals out of the principle that I don't want to be exploited to benefit the environment. That's the difference between your plant-based diet and lifestyle and actual principled veganism.
Mm-hmm. It's also David says, she also said, isn't it natural though? I get that factory farms are inhumane, but I feel like small local farms.
Yeah, that's true.
Or hunting are okay.
If you have an issue with factory farms, they're environmentally more friendly than the larger farms. They use less land, less water, less resources in general to get the animals to slaughter weight faster, right? So if your issue with factory farming is how they're treated and the animals' experiences, then it doesn't matter their welfare, right? And even on those nice farms, they still have their rights violated. And natural things are natural that are immoral, right? In nature, animals commit infanticide, right? They unjustly unalive each other because they fear competition. We would never say that that's moral in human society, right? Just because someone's doing something immoral does not give you the license to also be immoral.
Someone says veganism isn't a real word. That's like saying racism isn't a real word in response to somebody telling you you're being racist.
It's a real word.
And
For
honestly,
you to say
like,
that is Delulu.
I'm like, I wish that it wasn't something that had to be thought of. Like, it could just have been, you know, natural to just like not use others.
Yeah.
I wish that's the world we were in, but unfortunately, like, kepism is very like a thing. So we need veganism as well.
I saw someone say something about morality and subjectivity, like regardless of whether you think morality is subjective or objective, do you believe that it's fair to enslave others, to exploit others that feel and have their own purpose? Do you think it's right to force your purpose onto them? That's what we're talking about. Your own moral paradigm, right? Do you actually think that exploitation is moral, regardless of what other people think? To be frank, might be nice to answer that right animals deserve. They're not able to comprehend most human concepts like laws. They obviously deserve more agency than they have, but arguably kids are slaves too. Yeah, but how often are you demanding children be slaves versus how many times are you demanding animal children, because they're babies, animal children be enslaved? How many times a day are you doing that, right?
And like, I think we can agree that like most people will argue for the sake of the child, right? Because we recognize that children are like us, and that they're part of our group, and so like we care about them. However, you know, we're saying people need to extend that to other species as well, because what speciesism has shown us is that it's been used to uphold all the hierarchical systems that, you know, oppress others. So the same way that you're saying, oh, like, children are slaves to their parents or whatever.
We're
like,
slaves to the dollar.
Yeah. So like, there's so many ways that it all connects, and you know, like anti-speciesism should maybe be first on your list in terms of like learning and doing better.
To further on Elvin's point, like when you use animals, when you exploit them for your benefit, not their best interest, you're literally saying it's okay to use arbitrary traits to harmfully discriminate against others and exploit them in your benefit. You're saying it's okay to say you're different, even though our similarities are that we care about what happens to ourselves and we want to avoid suffering and, you know, always experience more positive experiences. I'm going to ignore that. And because you have these differences, I'm going to exploit and use you for my own benefits, my own pleasure, regardless of your experiences.
Someone saying, what do you think about dogs being banned to lives inside homes? Isn't that being depressed? Or isn't that, I don't know. I mean, yes, that is depressing to think of, right? Like, humans put themselves in a position to, you know, domesticate other animals to the point where they literally rely on us, and we're in a situation where they have to live with us in order for us to for them to thrive and live. Like, that is sad. Yeah. So what we see is like, that's what happens when humans are putting their foot in the door that they don't belong, and, you know, taking advantage of people. It's like, we try to avoid that in all situations. We don't want to domesticate all these wild animals. We want them to live free and, you know, be able to do as they wish, you know, for their own interests, putting their own interests in taking account of that as well. So
it doesn't matter if I see a question. I guess I'm asking whether they suffer from lack of agency the same way humans do, since they don't always know any better. If they don't feel exploited, are they exploited? Well, we could put a human in that situation, right? There are humans that don't understand what's going on around them. Would we find it moral to exploit those humans then? I would say no, because there's still someone in there experiencing life. And if I was them, I would want to be respected and not exploited. So that's all it is. It's just erring on the side of caution and just not exploiting others.
Yeah, that's more of like an ableist issue where, you know, it alludes to or gives way to the fact that somebody could say that somebody's ability to do something like understand their exploitation is what gives them the right to not be exploited. And that's wrong. We can't say that because, people who don't have the ability, to understand things or, be at the same cognitive level as you or whatever, right? They still deserve their moral consideration.
Right. What is the morally relevant difference between other animals and human animals that justifies farming and enslaving one but not the other? I'll give you a hint. There isn't. There is no morally relevant difference. Yeah, exactly, Sharkfin. It does drop down to ableism. People start saying they're not smart enough, they're not capable enough, they don't reciprocate enough. And it's like we have humans in the same categories that can't do any of those other things. We still respect them because we would want to be respected if we were in their position. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We both, other animals and humans. Oh, Ben the vegan farmer, what's up?
Hello.
It's good to see you. We know that human animals and other animals, we all care about what happens to ourselves. That's all that matters when it comes to respect.
Yes. Ben the vegan farmer says justice for all beings. So it makes me want to ask people who are in here, like, if you're a leftist, why are you not vegan? Like, if you believe in justice for all and liberation for all, why can't we extend that to non-human animals and beyond human kin?
Make sure you're tapping on that screen. If you can share this live, please do so. Let's get the activity going on in here and get some people in here to ask some questions. We really want to answer them, so please.
Someone says a vegan cheeseburger is not a burger. There's no burger in it. I want you to ask yourself why we have to reduce people's body parts and actual lives to other words like burger or beef. Instead of just calling it what it is, is it because you want to be able to say you love animals while you eat them? So you can't say I eat animals and I love animals at the same time. So we say I love animals, but I eat beef. I love animals, but I eat meat. Why don't we have the consistency there? Like, just call them animals if you are eating animals and you're fine with that 100% and you see nothing wrong with it. Just continue to do so.
Yeah.
And be honest with yourself. But if you can't be honest with yourself, it shows you're not living in alignment with your morals, and that you maybe should think about it differently. Think about these people differently.
Oh, might have an interview coming in. Great.
I mean, one guy did tell you you'd come back
I
too,
know.
so I'm like,
I feel like most people when they say they're coming back, I've had one pair come back, but you can build muscles. Yes, please go check out that Chip guy. Go look at his comments. He's actually been posting a bunch of PMIDs of studies that answer a lot of your questions that you guys are constantly spamming in there, which is understandable. We're asking for your reasons of why you're not vegan. Oh, did you? Yeah. Who wants to interview? Who wants to interview? You want to do it? Sure. Awesome. I'll take this.
All right. You don't like pink?
Throw me off.
That's a pretty mic.
If you want to be on camera, we'll just have you scoot in a little more.
Maybe if you could turn like.
There we go.
Yeah, that should be good. That's perfect, actually.
Is that perfect?
That is, yeah.
Here,
All right.
You can find us later.
So what's your name?
I'm Darnell.
My name's Cooper. It's nice to meet
Cooper,
you.
nice to meet you, Cooper.
So we're here talking to people about animals. How do you feel about animals?
I love animals.
You love them?
I love the domestic animals, and I love the zoo animals for because God made us, gave them life, so I like them.
Yeah.
I just don't play with them. I'm not one that go out and mess with bears and lions and,
Oh, yeah.
and alligators, but
You mind your business.
I mind
I hear you. Have you spent much time around dogs or cats in your life?
I spend a lot of time with dogs and cats. Without dogs and cats, man, they teach us how to love, how to be human, you know what I'm saying? How to care, how to understand that animal needs you.
Right.
And depends on you.
Right. And when you're taking care of those animals, does it teach you anything about their feelings?
Oh, it teaches you everything about their feelings. In fact, the strange thing is that I lived a long time not knowing that animals actually had emotions like that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the past, I think 30, 40 years, we start to realize that our animal understand more than we think it does.
Right.
Our animal also know how to come and comfort us when they know that you're sad.
Right. They can read our emotions. Yeah.
If you start crying, your animal come and put his paw on you and come by you
Yeah.
for that comfort.
Have you ever witnessed a dog suffer before?
Oh, I've witnessed lots of dogs suffer. People who have animals that abuse them, neglect them,
Right.
and thinking that they're part of property. You know what I'm saying?
It's not fair.
And if you just take an animal, a cat or a dog, and you're not willing to treat it the same way you would treat your child,
Right.
then you missing the whole point.
Yeah, I always think that's a good teaching with our dogs that we care for. Don't do something to them that you wouldn't do to your kid,
Yeah,
right?
that's a fact.
When you think about our situation in 2026, do you think there's anything us humans need from animals in terms of food or clothing or entertainment?
The things that we need from our animals.
Do you think there's anything that we need from them in 2026, or do we have an alternative today?
What do you mean alternative? Getting your needs from elsewhere?
Yeah, like for instance, if somebody was choosing between watching a nature documentary where the fish are free and they kind of have underwater cameras and they can choose to watch that, or go to an aquarium where they have all these wild fish and animals trapped in tanks, which choice do you think is more fair from the animal's perspective?
When you're watching them with the cameras underwater, enjoying their freedom.
Right.
See, I have a computer and connected to a monitor like this. But I don't go on my computer. I do more stuff on my phone. So when I turn my computer on, I go to the aquarium, live aquarium.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And right now, at my apartment, the fish are just floating around on a live camera, which means it's part of my decoration of my apartment.
Right. You can still learn about them and appreciate them without putting them in a tank or a cage, right? Yeah.
Well, see, that's our problem, is that we try to get too much amusement from animals, circus,
Rodeos.
Trying to entertain them, and the animal is showing you they start to lash out because it's different between.
They're resisting their oppression, right?
Yeah. But there are animals that will understand how to help you when you and protect you. You see what I'm saying? Say, for instance, you raised an elephant from a small baby. Took care of it, treated kind, had fun with it. That elephant will protect you with its life.
Yeah.
Knowing that by being so big, can't nothing harm you.
We definitely can build those relationships with them, even if they're so much bigger than us or different from us. Do you think it's fair when, like, for instance, at the Oregon Zoo, they have these elephants in these small enclosures that maybe they can walk, I don't know, a few hundred feet this way, a few hundred feet that way. Do you think it's fair when they would probably walk 5-10 miles a day in the wild to keep them in that cage so that we can look at them?
That's not fair. No. That's not fair. It's amazing how man need all of that for his pleasure and entertainment, but it's also offensive to nature itself. You know what I'm saying? Because those animals is just as free as man is free.
Yeah.
And see, man did some atrocities.
I wonder, so in the instance of entertainment, we have another option. Like you were saying, you can put it on your computer screen with a camera where the fish are free. Do you think we have a similar additional option? Do you think we have another option in terms of food where we don't have to use animals in 2026? Do you think we have an alternative?
Well, when it comes to food, we can become vegetarian or vegan. There's all lots of stuff. In fact, I had a friend that he's vegan.
Right.
And he said, man, and I said, vegan burgers? I said, I want to try one.
Right.
And so I went half with him. And man, that was so delicious.
It was a good burger, right?
It was a good burger.
Right. So I wonder if you could get that pleasure and you can get all your nutrients from plants and you know these animals suffer, do you think it's fair for us to continue using them?
No, it's not fair.
No?
It's no fairer than anything else that we continue to do, you know what I'm saying? But
you mentioned veganism. I wonder, when you think about how it's defined or what veganism is, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's non-meat products.
Just finding alternatives, right?
Yeah, finding alternatives. That's the main thing, is that we don't have to continue slaughtering animals and, for their meat, and because a lot of people, if they knew how we were slaughtering those animals, it'll turn their appetite away. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we make it look pretty, and we don't see it until you get to the grocery store. A nice juicy steak or this
Yeah.
or that, you know.
Yeah.
But
There's a disconnection, right?
there's a serious disconnection.
Yeah. We define veganism, it's similar to what you were saying, as a principle against using animals if we have the choice. If I'm in the middle of the woods and I don't have a choice, it kind of makes it challenging. But if we're here in Portland and we don't need to eat animals or wear their skin or go to the zoo and we have alternatives, do you think that we should not use animals when we can?
I think so, but the strange thing, see, I live to be 70, and man, there's certain things that man is not going to do. He's going to continue to abuse himself, others, the land, the animals. It's not going to go away. What some of them do
There's
is,
big systems.
some of them can get educated to say, you know what, I got second thoughts on that. You know, I wanna,
Right. There's a big systems, and it's so they can kind of become overwhelming. They're so big. There's so many animals, but there's a certain number of animals who enter the slaughterhouse for each one of us personally. There's a certain amount who are going through that process because of our demand. I wonder, do you think it would be in alignment with your own principles, since you know these animals suffer and we have another choice? Would it be in alignment with your principles to live vegan, do you think?
That would be the more righteous thing to do is to try to live without killing animals just for our pleasure, because we realize that we can kill a large animal and it's just for a small part of them, and you throw the other for waste.
Yeah, it's a wasteful process as well.
And it just go on and on. Now, I believe, I don't know if it's somewhere in the Bible that says only eat what you kill, you know, or whatever you kill, make sure it's for you to eat, to survive, to live. But if you just kill it to hang it up on your wall, a bear, a deer.
There's a difference between the survival and kind of needless, right?
But we always been needless. And there's a group of people who believe that not only do we hunt animals, we had the opportunity, we hunt people the same way.
But that's not good, right? We should oppose this as individuals or not contribute to when humans are harmed, right?
Well, we're going to have to oppose it because we're getting closer to our last days here on Earth, you know what I'm saying?
With climate change,
And climate change, even just having administrative change. Turning us back into time, you know what I'm saying? And so I think we're always going to have a 30 to 35%. It's just not going to change. The only thing we got going for...
Do you want to be part of that group that is willing to change so that the world's a better place for both humans and the animals we share the planet with?
I'm a part of that group.
You're a part of it?
I don't hunt and fish and do all that type of stuff because I can walk to the grocery store and get it. And plus...
Do you think it's fair if you're walking through the grocery store and you could pick up the can of beans or the bag of beans or the tofu or the mock meat that you said tasted really good, right? The mock burger. If you could pick up those instead of the animal flesh, do you think it's justified to continue picking up the flesh or the eggs or the milk?
That would be good, but, meat eaters, I think it's in their blood, It's
a habit for them?
Yeah, the only way they can get away from eating meat is that our doctors tell us that, I know why man has trouble with colon cancer and prostate cancer and all these different types of cancer is because he's eating meat that his system can't digest. See, man was not made to take a steak and a minute on this side and a minute on that side and it's juicy red and let me eat it. Because the Bible tells you don't eat the blood of an animal. Only animals is able to process raw meat.
Yeah, we have to cook it up, right, in order just to not get a disease. But even then, we still might clog up our arteries and get heart disease.
If you ate a steak every day, what's going to happen? Just like what happened to John Wayne. John Wayne, you heard of John Wayne?
I'm not too
The
familiar.
cowboy, John Wayne.
Oh, I know the figure, but yeah, I'm not sure what happened to him.
Well, what happened to him, he lived in New York, a big star. Every time he go to this 5-star restaurant, they give him a big juicy steak and a big potato with all the trimmings and the fixings, and he eat it. But the problem he had was that his system couldn't digest that meat that fast.
Yeah.
And so it killed him because he developed cancer in the colon.
Yeah, there's certainly health consequences to this injustice towards the animals that we share the planet with. There's these health consequences to ourselves as well. I wonder, maybe a couple more questions and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
When you think about your own principles and your preferences, how many more animals would you prefer enter the slaughterhouse for you in the future?
How many more?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say they enter the slaughterhouse for me because I eat more poultry and seafood than I eat anything.
Do you think the birds enter a slaughterhouse and that the fish aren't pulled out of the water and killed too?
The birds enter a slaughterhouse?
Yeah, like the chickens, they also enter a slaughterhouse too.
Oh, yeah. They enter the slaughterhouse.
Like,
The
how
fish
many-
in the sea enter our skillet. As far as somebody fishing, and they get hooked and we eat it. But
When you think about what's fair, how many more animals do you think or do you prefer would go through that process for you in the future?
how many more animals will go through the process of what being saved or not eaten?
Or how many more would you prefer are exploited and killed and chopped up?
Oh, how many more?
For you, yeah. Because there's a certain amount, because like you and I aren't responsible for all the animals being chopped up because there's so many. But there's a certain amount that you and I are responsible for, right? So I'm just wondering, like, how many more would you prefer are in that position for you in the future?
I don't know, man. Being 70 years old, man, it's hard to say that I would change anything other than that. I just know that I'm not one of the ones that go out to kill the animals. If I was a farmer, I would have to kill my pig, kill my cow, and deer and lamb and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. I wonder, would you ever be willing, because I know knowledge is power, would you ever be willing to watch a documentary that connects with the practices in farms and slaughterhouses?
I've seen many of them.
And how does it make you feel when you watch them?
Well, it makes me understand more than have feeling. It makes me understand that we kill a lot of the animals and the sea creatures that wanted freedom just like we wanted to be free. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think it's fair or just if that's happening when all of us humans had another option?
It's not fair and just. We're doing even more than what you and I are speaking. We're even taking their eggs and destroying their eggs, eating their eggs.
Do you know that all of the birds that enter the egg industry, they might live 5 or 7 years if their life wasn't taken, but they're killed at about 18 months old because that's when they start to lay less eggs in their lifespan? So something that a lot of people don't know is that every chicken that enters that industry, they're also killed. And another thing to think about is the selective breeding. I'm not sure if you've heard of this, but the ancestors of the birds that lay eggs, they might have laid about an egg every month, about once a month, because it's kind of similar to their menstrual cycle. But the birds that are in sheds today, in farms today, they lay about an egg every single day because we've selectively bred them so much over the years that they have to use all these nutrients in their body to push out an egg every day just so humans can put it on their toast or something. And then they're killed a fraction into their lifespan.
That's something, man. The main problem is that right now in society and life in this world, the misuse of our animals, the misuse of people.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. And so we're not willing to do much for any of them. The way things is that the status quo. The only thing we have going is the 60% that's against that. Because there's a 40% that say we're not changing, we're going to do that. In fact, we're going to
the exclusionary, the really bigoted exclusionary crowd.
And so those are the same ones that would go fishing, shoot a bear, or shoot another human
Yeah,
being.
we don't. I don't feel like we have hope to reach them. I don't know if there's hope that we're going to convince those people. But compassionate people like you who care about dogs and you know they suffer and you know these animals suffer, I wonder, would you be willing to watch? We have the most recent documentary that's showing these most recent practices.
Right.
I wonder if you'd be willing to watch it so that you could be an informed consumer and you could know whether
It's
you
on
want to
YouTube
continue.
now?
It's on YouTube.
What's the name of it?
It's called Dominion.
Dominion?
Yeah, let me hand you a card just in case you forget
I
it.
got one.
It is
Is it on
right.
this card?
Let's see. Oh, you've got one. Sorry. Yeah, it's on there. Everything's on there. If you look up anti-animal use, it says it right down here. It'll.
Yeah, I probably have something to watch tonight, you know.
Yeah. Food for thought, right?
Food for thought.
All right.
Hey,
Well, I appreciate your time here.
well, no problem, man. You guys doing good work. It's always nice to stop and chit-chat and see what's going on, you know. On the other corner, they have stop arming Israel. you know
Oh,
what
that's
I'm saying?
excellent.
And so I think what it is that we are starting to wake up slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Because we got to understand that we don't do anything about climate change.
Yeah. It's all interconnected. All of these injustices, the way that we oppress humans and other animals, it's all connected. We're trying to stand against all of it here.
And that's what we have to do, man, because a lot of us sit on the couch for a long time, you know, because it didn't affect them.
Right.
It wasn't their concern, and nothing is going to change. And then those who marched and protested and came out to contest things took the firing line. You know, now people are starting to wake up.
Yeah.
Because I remember you guys weren't even born back in the '60s. We had a lot of talks like this.
Yeah.
What we're doing to the animals.
Raising consciousness about the things that are wrong in this world.
And then so it's been multiplying and picking up ever since in the last 60 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're in our conscious thinking because we're killing way too much animals and discarding them. And then in some cases, we won't even give it to those who are actually starving in this country.
Right.
We throw it away and say you can't have it.
Yeah, there's a lot of food waste.
Yeah, it's a lot of food waste, especially for the amount that we're killing, you know.
Yeah.
You would think that everybody was fat cats, but even with all that we're killing, everybody's still not eating.
If you found out that there were more than enough plants to go around for all of the humans in the world, would you think that's the direction we should be going as a species? Should we be transitioning to that plant food system that doesn't require animals to be used and killed for us?
Well, it would be more of a, we would have to come from a spiritual concept because all the plants and the existence of roots of plants is associated with our food and our medicine.
Right.
We get medicine from our plants.
Yeah.
But we won't transfer to say, hey, listen, God created this earth and put all these things in it, and it was for a purpose. Animals wasn't meant for us to kill and eat.
Yeah. If we have another choice today, do you think that you and I should participate in that process of picking up those products and having animals killed in the background, out of sight, out of mind? Do you think we should continue participating if we don't need to?
Sure, you should continue to participate.
We should or shouldn't participate in that violence towards
Oh
animals?
no, we shouldn't participate. I thought you said picking up stuff that's not of all those animals and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. It's
Yeah, I
just,
really appreciate your time. You're a really open-minded person, and I encourage you to check out that documentary.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out, man. Give me something to watch tonight. They say, we Google, YouTube. YouTube is the most educational thing we have.
And it's free.
And it's free.
Yeah.
And you can prescribe to any type of podcast you want that favors you or your welfare, or you can just learn about all kinds of things. Now, let me show you what I was talking about for as far as I'm gonna show you what's at my house right now. You see that?
Oh, I see. I love that.
And I play that. I play that just like this. I play that when.
And the fish don't have to be in a tank, right?
Yeah, it don't have to be in the tank. This is on my monitor screen. It's about 36 inches. Then I have a computer right here. Then I have a big screen behind me.
This is so much better than aquariums because they're free.
From the TV to the computer,
Yeah.
to the phone, and all that same information.
Yeah.
And then this is it's part of my furniture. You know, I can sit there and meditate,
Yeah.
and they give you little soft music for meditation. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll ask you one final question.
Have to die. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they don't have to. They don't have to be in a tank so we can see them.
No,
We
they
can
don't have to
appreciate
be
their
in a
glory
tank.
without
Just,
it. I'll ask you one more question real quick before we wrap up. When you're watching that on YouTube and you're seeing these violent systems that animals are forced to endure, when you're watching it, keep in mind that there's a certain amount of that's happening right now because of you. And if you want to change that, if you want to start being against that, the way to do that is to live a vegan ethic. And that's just what we're raising awareness today about.
Like I said, man, when I tried that vegan burger, man, I had to call my friend and say, man, that was delicious.
Yeah, you won't miss out, right?
Especially knowing that it's a non-meat product.
Right.
And it's going to go straight to your system.
Right. It's better for your body. It's so much better for the animal. Yeah.
In fact, if people are raised on vegetarian and vegan, if they raised that way, you know what happens when they eat the first bite of meat? It makes them sick.
Yeah. Kind of. It's almost like poison.
Exactly. It's like poison.
Yeah.
Makes them sick.
Well, I appreciate your time. It's been a great conversation.
Well, same here, man.
And you enjoy it?
You guys be safe and keep spreading the word.
All right, we will do.
Okay, now.
You have a good one.
All right, take care.
All right, that seemed like a pretty good conversation. Let's see what we got going in the chat here. Vegan burgers are full of preservatives and unnatural. I mean, so is the meat you buy from the store. These animals are pumped full of all kinds of shite. I don't know if I can say that, but pumped full of stuff. They're supplemented, so the meat you're buying from the store isn't natural either. And just because something is natural doesn't mean it's better. So there's a lot of natural things like disease, killing, rape that we view as not good. So.
How's the chat? Hello to all the vegans.
All right, I feel like some of these comments are getting a little racist. So if there's any mods, I don't know who the mods are in the chat. Ian,
We will not tolerate racism or any other bigotry. You will be very quickly kicked from the chat. So don't spread that here. Somebody says Jesus is gay. It's an interesting point I hadn't considered. Let's see. I'm going to ask the non-vegans in the chat to leave their best argument against veganism so that Nick and I can respond.
Someone said, "You definitely not a farmer," and yeah, I'm not. I'm glad I'm not. I don't want to exploit other animals. I don't have any reason to. So, animal farmers specifically. That's what we're talking about.
I'm going to have the vegans put a 1 in the chat. Vegans. Oh, we have a conversation here.
Oh,
You want to do it?
yeah, I'll do it.
We got the some squares here, stay there.
All right. Well, we appreciate you stopping by. What's your name?
Melodic Jones.
Melodic Jones. I'm Nick. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Nick.
So today we're talking about like dynamics between like the powerful and the powerless, essentially. So do you think like someone maybe being stronger or someone being smarter, do you think that gives them the right to like dominate or oppress someone else solely for that reason? Like
No, actually, I think it requires that the weak are the ones that oppress people because they're so scared. It's when you have strength, true strength in your heart, then you bring protection to other people because you can do that.
Right. Yeah, I agree. So like basically like just because you have the power like right to do something doesn't mean you like should dominate someone. You should be like I guess like a steward, like, don't use your power.
Superhero.
Yeah, exactly, like a superhero.
Spider-Man. It's like
Exactly.
straight up. He's my idol.
Exactly. Yeah, me too. I love Spider-Man. He's my favorite superhero. But
He's the most altruistic. I asked myself, what would Spider-Man do? Not what would Jesus do.
Yeah, I mean that's
Fuck that.
that's a great example. Like or the
Talking about
saying.
fictional characters. Well, I mean, he wasn't exactly fictional, but Spider-Man is.
Yeah, I get what you mean. So I guess kind of flipping the dynamic a little bit. How do you feel about like the animals, for example, that we like send into slaughterhouses and use and like medical testing, for example, or like put in zoos, and like behind these cages?
Oh, it's fucked up.
Yeah,
It's messed up. I mean, there's a reason why we're all so unhealthy. It's because the food that we eat is unhealthy.
yeah.
Regardless of whether, we should stop eating food, and there's like debate whether, we should all be vegan or something like that. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's like the food that we eat, there's enough territory and land mass to be able to actually house like decent food. If people ate proper proportions and, decent, like the more decent food you eat, the less of it you need to eat. The more shitty food you eat, the more you need to eat, because it's devoid of any sort of anything.
Yeah, like I know there's a lot of noise going on over here, but like what you were kind of saying is, well, actually, like, so if the world were to like adopt a plant-based diet, or if we were to shift towards like a plant-based food system, we'd actually be able to free up 75% of our aggressorial land.
But then we'd have to use all of that.
Well,
because in order to actually subset the meat, the proteins, you have to grow a shit ton more food. But when I tried veganism, I had to eat so much to keep up my metabolism because of the type of metabolism that I have.
Well, think about it this way. So we breed 90 plus billion land animals into existence currently, and we have to grow crops to feed these animals, right?
No,
so
not necessarily.
Well, what
we
do they
grow the crops to feed us and the animals at the same time?
Well, what I'm saying is, we breed these animals into existence. We clear land to farm them. We clear land because we have to feed them, right?
That's just poor farming. There's polyculture, not actually like related to polyamory, but polyculture instead of monoculture crops. Polyculture crops will have ground cover, vining plants, trees, bushes, all growing on the same plot, where you can quadruple, centuple your fucking land, your production rate, rather than what we do is, the monoculture, because that's easier. And it's just poor planning. It's poor corporate mentality. Instead of actually melding it. Like I actually was I worked on farms in Costa Rica, and also here. And the difference is that in Costa Rica, they actually utilize the actual full, like the full might of the ground. Like instead of what we do is we just destroy it by just doing monoculture crops, which makes it arid after a good 20 years.
Well, I mean, I don't know too much, I guess, about what'd you call it? It was
Polyculture.
I'll have to look into that. I don't know too much about that, but
agriculture, polyculture is monoculture. Think of it that way.
Okay. Basically, though, the point I was making, right, is kind of what I was saying, though. I mean, if we were to just free up all this land, we'd be able to, because I mean, the leading driver of species extinction currently is animal agriculture, right?
Well, no. I mean, really, it is that we have poor planning and poor production rates. That's really what it comes down to. All of our production is totally fucking stupid. And it's based on an archaic system where we have to keep on working. And like most of the production that we do has never been improved in 70 years, in 100 years, because it works. And corporate goons are making money. So they just do that. So what really is the issue is that we need to look at our system in general, that we actually don't even need to actually do that much. We could just literally plant more stuff on the same ground, and it would actually improve the rate of growth, quadruple, centuple. Or what we could do is stop expanding outwards and expand upwards, and then all that farmland that's disappearing would actually still be freed up. Or what we could do is just, actually care about the animals that we're eating, and actually spend time. Like I actually I've straight up farmed, grew, bred and like killed this duck it was the best duck I've ever had. But and, I was like sad for that duck, but that duck gave me life to be able to feed other animals, to help other people. And that's the thing is like I've already tried veganism and it doesn't work like for me, and it doesn't. And the plant-based stuff, plant-based substitutes, they fuck up my gut. And like I tried for 2 years to be a vegan and I couldn't, because I was wasting away and I was just agitated all the time. As soon as I started eating meat again, it actually helped me. But I eat good meat, like quality meat that wasn't killed in some massive factory. I eat local, and that lowers my carbon footprint, and also it's like usually sustainable, not necessarily organic, because that's a bullshit hocus pocus tune, but it's always grass-fed, free range, like beef, chicken, and that's I've tried to stay away from beef, but it's mainly like poultry, chicken that I use, because like that's, I mean, you can have 10 chickens in like an 8 plot area. What you're talking about mainly is pigs and cows. That is like 90% of the farmland is used for those.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess I want to go over a few things there. So you kind of had mentioned that you tried veganism and you said it wasn't for you. Can I ask, like, what kind? Were you just eating like fake mock meats, or like was that?
No. I was trying everything. Thug Kitchen. It's one of the coolest books ever. It's literally it's just like it's a really good book. I would eat mushrooms are probably the closest that came to like being able to like subsidize my meat intake. Mushrooms, portobello mushroom burgers. I make them mean, so good, with some balsamic vinaigrette and some like seasonings. You soak that, marinate it, and it almost tastes just like a regular burger. But the thing is, like, I wasn't just eating plant-based meat alternatives. Cheese alternatives, horrible. The production of cheese-based alternatives, vegan-based alternative for cheese, is like pretty much the equivalent to plastic. The same thing with butter. Like, I mean, a lot of these plant substitutes are actually just as bad for the environment as it is as the growing the animals to make it.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, if you're, obviously you don't have to necessarily eat like the fake butter or the fake cheese. Like you can.
Yeah, that's the thing, is a lot of people want to, and thus vegan substitutes for meat-based products or animal-based products are actually horrible for the body and for the environment, most of them.
Well, I mean, like a lot of these substitutes probably aren't going to be, the healthiest. Nobody's arguing that. Or we're not arguing saying that, like, they're necessarily
arguing
healthy.
That releasing a lot of the like land mass will help with agriculture.
Well, yeah, it will, because if we were to free up land,
in turn, you're also increasing textiles production, which increases pollution. So there's a hell of a lot more pollution done to create cheese-based alternatives than which are basically plastics.
What do you think's more sustainable, though? Farming 90+ billion land animals and having to clear land for them, for the crops they're going to have to eat, because we got to fatten these animals up, plus on top of the crops that we also eat. So what do you think, clearing that or getting rid of 2/3 of that, and then, whether we produce these, vegan alternatives?
You have to fill up all of that land for the amount of plant-based substitute to actually subset the amount of food you would need to eat.
So you're saying that if we were to stop farming animals and then stop farming crops,
if we stopped farming animals and stopped eating meat entirely, let's say all the meat was gone forever, like no more meat, we would have to subset our diet just as much land mass to like eat like alternatives, like vegetables and all, to get the nutrients that we need, the enzymes that comes from meat that are almost irreplaceable, that our body actually does need. And not to mention like cooked food, cooked meat, braised meat, that char is actually good for the body.
Well, I mean, the research would disagree with you there, because
whose research? There's so many different nutritional research, but none of it is actually the same.
Well, for example, Our World in Data, which is a huge organization that takes data from.
Okay, so what's your counterpoint?
What I'm saying is they've looked into this, right? And it's their.
Okay, they have what? But what is their checks?
I'm getting to that. You got to let me speak.
Yeah.
they're saying that, I mean, we'd be able to free up, like I said, 75% of our agricultural land shifting away from animal farming.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't be, we'd free up the land. We wouldn't be using that land to, because producing crops, right, takes so much less land than use, because clearing land to farm animals, we have to do that on top of clearing land to feed these animals,
Have you ever worked
right?
on a farm?
No, I haven't worked on a farm.
Okay, so the land mass that they have is the food that they eat for the most part. Like literally, it's grass.
You're talking about grazing animals,
Yeah.
but that's not currently like 99% of the meat that comes that people eat here in like
Not
the U.S.
99, but
it's about 99%.
not in Portland.
Well, I'm just saying, in the U.S., for example, about 99% of it is factory farmed
Probably
meat.
most of it's Texas.
So we don't. So I mean, the majority of it is factory farmed meat. But the reason why factory farming even became a thing was because it was more sustainable and easier to farm. You know, however, or all these animals, right? And so if we were to switch to like a grazing system, sure, that might be better for the animal. But I mean, it still wouldn't be humane. But
Generally, like that's the
we'd
point,
use more
though.
land doing that.
No, I mean actually we wouldn't if we used polyculture. If we straight up what we could do is just straight up.
But do you think that's sustainable to feed?
Yeah,
8
it's actually
8 billion people?
no. Yeah, it is. Polyculture literally quadruples the amount of food that you can create. You have vining plants, bushes, ground cover, and trees all producing food on the same plot that all work together. And when they all die, you know, because they actually work together. That's why monoculture will destroy the land, because it's not restoring the nitrogen and nutrients in the soil that requires for like forests to stay lush.
Well, listen, I'll look into that. I don't know. I mean, I'll admit, I don't know too much about.
There's hell of a lot more alternatives than just getting rid of meat. That's
Well,
not going to happen.
but do you
not
think-
going to
but
happen.
do you think if
As
we-
much as you want it to, it is not going to
All right,
happen.
you gotta-
There are too many people. No, see, that's the thing is you're coming up with the same solution.
You're not letting me speak,
Remove
though.
it. But
You're not-
you're not.
you gotta let
you're not
me-
saying anything new.
Well, I mean, you're just rounding off all these points. You got to let me talk. You got to let me respond.
I haven't heard a new point yet.
All right. Well, then maybe we should end this conversation.
Well,
if
no,
you're not going to let me.
give me a different point besides. Let's stop using meat.
Okay.
I'll take it.
Please.
Okay.
Other.
There you go.
Other points. I want to hear other points.
I hear about the polyculture and like food forest. I'm very much aware of that.
Yeah.
And how they can, provide a much better and actual sustainable way. What I want to get at, I guess, is the idea that animals aren't here for our use. Do you agree with that?
Oh, so you
That
mean
like inherently animals are here
Neither
to
are
exist.
trees.
Like yes, exactly. Like they're here
But
to exist for their own
yet
purposes, right?
biology has grown to where we all need to eat each other.
Well,
Buddha's first suffering was that life must consume life to live.
I mean, in ways. Okay, and then I don't know. I guess I would understand. I would ask, why is it then that we can put that harm on other people, right? So, like animals, they have interests, which are to survive.
Yeah.
Life eating other life, makes sense when we talk about people eating plants. But taking life, right, is going to be a different matter.
But
are we
plant-
causing harm?
Well,
and
yeah,
are
but
we
plants
looking at-
are cognitive. They aren't conscious.
I mean,
but they do have cognition.
plants work
They do
together.
have feelings.
And there's
They can get sad and sorrowful. They can weep.
yeah, there's debates about that.
No,
However,
not debates. That's like literally.
You cannot. Okay,
There's no cognitive process.
I'm not gonna. Okay, let me say I'm not gonna operate off of anything that's like not empirical evidence, right?
Yeah. There's empirical evidence that shows that if you were to keep a plant in a room and do nothing but hateful speech at it,
I've
it
seen that,
will
yes.
have crazy like reactions and be like malformed and scared.
I mean,
almost.
they just noted that the quality of life in the plant was less than that of one that was
Yeah.
survived.
What's the difference?
However,
You're asking about quality
I'm saying
of life.
I'm
though,
saying there's a
right?
difference. I feel like as us, like we would recognize the difference between plants and animals, right? Where
Okay.
we recognize that we step on grass and it's not writhing in pain, it's not screaming, right? Because they don't have an actual central nervous system that allows them to make their own preferences.
Yeah,
like
but they
animals
still have
do.
emotions. That's
Yes,
it.
and so
they
like,
have feelings. Like they feel. They don't sense the same way that we do, and that's almost arrogant to assume that life isn't just as important because
Exactly.
it doesn't have a central nervous system.
Well, yes, right. And that'd be ableist and saying, okay, just because somebody doesn't have a specific maybe cognitive ability that
Like
they
animals.
deserve, right? Exactly, that they deserve less consideration or moral consideration, right?
Yeah.
So that's actually all we're saying, right? Is animals are actually probably one of the biggest victims of that mentality.
Well,
right?
yeah. I mean, I think that we should first start out getting altruistic about people. See, the thing is that, like, right now, I'm homeless, right? I've been trying to get resources for a long time. And you know what? I still can't. I'm a college-educated person. I've been asking for resources. I can't get a job normally because I have to worry about where I'm going to sleep each night, worry about where I'm going to be and what I'm going to eat. And so I can't wait 3 weeks for a paycheck to, like, actually work a normal job.
Yeah.
So what I do is I busk, I repair furniture, I do whatever I can. I still can't get assistance.
Yeah.
And actually, I finally housed up, like, recently, but it was with some tweakers that wound up stealing all my shit.
Yeah.
And so, and it really sucks. So I'm pissed about that, you know. But when we can be equal and awesome towards people, like just people, then we can start making the conversation about how are we going to change our food source? How are we going to change our production source? Because right now, there are people literally dying.
Oh, I'm much aware, yes.
Because we don't care about that. Because of the focus we spend on things like this. No offense. But I'm not saying that this is a bad cause.
I get that.
Wait,
I get
no,
that
let me finish what I'm saying.
I will.
I'm not saying that this is a bad cause. I would love it if we could switch to a plant-based diet and make that scientifically sound. But right now, it is not possible in mentality, production, or like even in the minds. Like, because there are so many people that are just so hateful and dying and not getting the food that they need as it is.
Yeah.
To even begin to talk about that food structure, because it requires education.
And I get that.
Even our education is fucked.
Yeah, I get a lot of people, so that, like, I see there's a lot of human-based struggles and issues that are going on. I have family that struggle with houselessness. I have
homelessness.
I like
if they have I know people who have houses like to say houselessness, but when you feel like you have no home, it is homelessness.
I get that
not
too.
houselessness.
I only
if they
say
have
that
a
because
home,
people use homeless as some derogatory term
I
without
don't
even
give a
acknowledging
shit,
the fact that
like
whether
that
this person
actually
has a home
is a difference. There's a difference between houselessness. Back in the early 2000s when I was houseless, I was houseless. I felt like Portland was my home. But the way it's gone, it's like there's so much stigma towards homelessness that it's fucked up. And people actually treat me like I have no home. This is not my home anymore.
Yeah, I only use that term because I'm more...
Because it makes you feel better.
No, no, please, really? I'm just more familiar with my sister's exact situation, and I would say she's houseless.
Okay.
She, she has a home with me if she ever needs, but she typically ends up in situations where she has to be out late at night, or feels like she needs to, get somewhere or get something from somebody. So, there's situations like that.
She did it to crack?
I mean, no, actually, I'm not sure, but even if she was, like,
whatever,
treat that as that's what she's doing. What she's
people
do.
People do their shit.
Anyway,
and that's it. Drugs are drugs.
I wanted to make sure I said that. What this cause is about, right?
What is it?
It's more than food. It's more than production. It's about the way that we see others, right? Because I would argue that the same system that allows us to abuse each other and oppress each other as humans, it's a part of the same system that allows us to abuse and hurt other animals, other species, right?
It's arrogance.
Have you heard of speciesism at all? Like that? Just that word? Just like discriminating against other people based on
bigotry.
species.
Bigotry, it comes from ignorance, and that's really what it boils down to. Is that we have a huge problem with ignorance, and the ignorant produce more ignorance, and those that have grown up with their ignorance make a belief structure out of their ignorance, and then that belief structure influences everybody. So what we need to do is we need to actually break down the systems, the towers that are right here that are creating and proliferating the hateful bigotry that would cause, actually back in the day, even you and I to have odds.
Exactly.
So like this is the problem that we face every day, is that bigotry is really at the heart of this.
Yes.
Arrogance and bigotry, and it comes from education. So when it comes down to it, regardless of all other means, the problem we have is a lack of education. You know, it's really funny. Just because there's this free Bible course. The thing about the Bible, the Bible, is that King James actually consigned both the Bible and the Satanic Bible as well.
I didn't know.
I
don't even know really.
He consigned it, yeah.
But
Or wait, commissioned it.
Oh, weird.
With different people. Not the most recent version, but the original version. Yeah. Crazy shit, right?
Yeah. I guess I wanted to say, so what you said, like that this cause isn't. I guess I want to ask how do you believe that this cause isn't doing exactly that, attacking those systems? Because
we need to actually attack the system itself. We need to stop being complacent
the system
and
is
doing it legally.
So
and we need a revolution.
Let me say this
straight up.
Let me say this.
Fuck the police.
Colonization, right, and everything else, right?
Yeah.
That created this intense idea of domination, right? Turning land to property, turning our relationships with animals to food, and reducing all of what we maybe knew with money and power and trying to gain capital, right? At the same time we see that coming into fruition, we see people using animals like at large just for like and treating them as more their disposability went up, right? So indigenous peoples who were living in like on Turtle Island or other islands, like I'm native Polynesian, so
Scottish.
Yes, right.
Scotch Irish and Norwegian as well.
We'll see that those cultures they're animists. They see animals as having spirits and value and inherent, like they can be teachers. Right.
Sir Nunos right here. Where is it? Right here. This is Sir Nunos.
Yeah.
He's a trickster god, and he's always seen with like animals around him.
Yes, because like I don't
love
know.
animals.
Yes. Anyways, yes.
I speak to him. I actually speak dog. Well, I understand dog.
I
Very
definitely feel like
fluently.
there's lots of like intuition that can be built with like
Learning
communicating with
crow.
animals.
Actually.
That's amazing. But
Actually, I play to them all during the winter. Like they do the like the communal roost here in Portland. Then they're trying to spend this hawk like to go chase them away. Which I like literally started carrying around a slingshot just to peg that fucker. I never did though. But there's like 7,500 of them that like over the winter that all roost together.
Mm-hmm.
One night I was playing in the square. I was playing a song, and it was like, dude, they're all quiet, and it was like. And I stopped for a second, and then they all started.
Yeah.
It's just right in the morning. But it's really creepy that you just look up, and all of a sudden
you realize there's all these people watching. There's this whole audience
exactly.
there.
I love crows. Crows are probably just about as intelligent as a 10-year-old child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dogs about 5-year-old.
Yeah, and
cats are demons. they're demons and angels, but they're wrestling with their own mentality. They're not of this
animals.
world.
Animals, they all have their own things that they want to do or interests or whatever, like different personalities.
For
right?
sure. But so really, what comes down to is that I know in my lifetime I love meat. I'm good at cooking meat, but yet I make sure I'm respectful with it, and I actually acknowledge it, and I spiritually acknowledge and take in that energy. I don't hunt because I don't want to kill an animal, but I will kill an animal on a farm. I don't hunt an animal in the wild because that's their land. But when I've raised the animal themselves, yes, that animal is alive because I needed food. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to raise its children, and its whole family line exists because I wanted to eat. And now, hold on. The only thing I do hunt is chimos and rapists.
I get that. I'm with you on that, right? Because those are people who are violating others' autonomy, right? I would honestly just say the only thing I think of when I hear about other farms, right, or that aren't in factory situations, or maybe where they're raised correctly,
it's
right?
really corporatism.
I can only think of the exploitation that still goes on.
Colonialism.
On those farms, right?
Exactly.
From seeing these animals as objects for production.
Exactly. That's what corporatism. Rich white motherfuckers that literally go around, pardon my language, rich white bastards, they have literally dominated the universe with our own mental universes with the idea that we own everything.
Exactly. And that's what I was trying to say earlier, right? Is that so with their disposability went up as colonial mindsets began to grow and flourish.
Everybody's
off of everybody else's,
disposability.
right? Exactly, right? Because they had to create the system, right, which was like white, black, and then animal.
No,
and so
white, everybody else black, then
yes,
animal.
Yes, you're right.
I was
But
like,
so
seriously.
everybody can fit somewhere into this system where we then can use their traits or whatever, even pseudoscience, right? Because they would say like black people had elongated skulls, and that meant that they were, more primitive and they were more closer to animals. So
that's racialism.
Yes,
and that's actually why I don't like the system that D&D has. It's a race system that they
like the
changed
class
up.
or
Well,
whatever,
no, because it's based on Tolkien's racialist lore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he later, once he went to Apartheid, he was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Probably
I was
shouldn't be
wrong.
doing that.
Yeah. Oh shit. Because that's why they're called the dwarven race, and dwarf is spelled differently because it's not the same.
Yeah.
So
But,
it's like,
I was gonna say so just as the colonial mindsets grew, right, and infiltrated people's minds, even the minds of the indigenous people who were there, right, it ended up taking precedence, right? Now it's the main dominant way of thinking. Now it's okay to just use animals. It's okay to just use animals whenever we need because they exist here for us. Like God put them on Earth for us to use, and they would spread that that use. And so the creation of animal as a category itself was also instrumental in the racialization of everything, because now we have a category that I can say, oh, these people aren't even like me. They're so far not like me. They're like those. And those are something terrible we never want to be, even though we know we are animals. Humans are animals. It's always been that way.
some people don't believe so.
Yeah, and
Some people think we're aliens, but aliens
Right.
are animals. They're just from
And even then,
another fucking world.
And even if aliens came down and they started to
They're
use
still animals.
us not being like them as a arbitrary trait to justify using us for their food or whatever, it'd still be wrong. We'd be like, well, we still feel like we still have whole concepts that you can't understand, right? But why is it that you get to use us? And so I typically try to urge people, especially who have animist culture, indigeneity down there, inside, or who have who are wanting to decolonize their mind, right? To really rethink their relationship with what we call meat, right? Because at the end of the day, somebody had to lose their life, and we only if we look and we search and we search,
possibly,
we can't.
I swear, I had such stomach cramps that I swear I was like, I felt like I was about to lose my life.
I'm never advocating that people eat a bunch of processed food or whatever.
No.
There's whole food, especially with polycultures or food.
Yeah,
forest,
yeah,
right?
you've heard of
You
that.
can,
Okay,
yes,
cool.
you can live off of fully plant-based diets and be super
One
healthy.
person can live off of literally if it's polyculture, can live off of I think I think it was half an acre. One single
Yes,
person,
yeah,
a whole
I think so.
family can probably do a whole acre.
Yeah.
Or it's some weird.
It was something like that. Or it was a
ridiculous.
whole family on half. Honestly, it sounds kind of crazy. to
Yeah,
say,
with
but
polyculture,
it was pretty close to that.
literally, it magnifies our production so exponentially, and it's just harder because you have to manage it a lot more carefully.
Well, and you have to have the
But it's
time and
dude.
the energy to learn about these things.
Oh my God, there's a job shortage. Gee, I wonder what we could do to help with the food production.
Yeah.
I mean, we produce so much food already in the world. We don't need most of the land because we produce so much food that's just thrown away.
Yeah.
See, it's all corporate bullshit. It all comes down to this corporate mentality that is destroying our way of life, destroying human being. It's digitizing the human soul, and that's what I'm absolutely against this. Can I play you guys a song?
We are.
No, please. I got it.
If you
song
make it,
yeah,
maybe super quick.
it's a good. It's
But
a good
I also
song.
wanted to
say your point, and then I'm gonna play a song
Well, I wanted to say
as my farewell.
So the human animal binary, right? Are you in favor of abolishing that? You see, I believe that all animals are kin to us, and we should actually probably owe it to them to.
There's a
return
quote
that
I really
success.
love. God is alive in the rocks, asleep in the trees, awake in the animals, and conscious in humans.
Yeah, and so.
But I don't believe in God the same way that other people do. I say it's the God mind. There's one. I believe that there's one spirit, and that spirit is cycling through every quantum iteration of every single life form in existence throughout all of time. backwards, forwards, everywhere.
Yeah.
So I am you, you are me, we are we are that blade of grass, we are that tree, we are that woman, we are the people who stupidly, hate other people, but we're just, they're learning, we're learning, everybody's learning. And every experience that we have is just as fundamentally good as any other experience, even no matter how evil it is.
And do you believe like animals are included in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, of course, that's why I said.
What we say is like we should go to our best, practicable and possible way to not cause or to not infringe on their rights as well as ours, because we are all, if we are all one, then the only way we can truly acknowledge that and, treat nobody different than how we would treat ourselves is to at least maybe not aid in the exploitation of them. Right?
Exploitation, yes. That's actually what the song is about.
Oh, and well, that's actually what veganism is about, right?
I know.
It's not just.
It's
not just the food. It's not just the diet. The diet is plant-based diet, right? And we can
If
talk about
a
plant-based
vegan
diet.
does CrossFit, what do they talk about first?
I actually don't know. What is
No,
that?
it's a joke. It's a joke. Because vegans always talk about veganism, like it's a joke. And like CrossFit fools like always talk about CrossFit. So if a vegan does CrossFit, what do they talk about first?
I don't know.
It's a joke. It's just a dumb joke. It's like I make fun of things even that I like.
Well, I guess I wanted to say then the veganism. You understand it's not just the food part.
Yeah.
It's a
it's a whole cultural
veganism is
thing.
like
It
being
is
against the
literally
exploitation.
trying. Yeah, but I mean, some people it's not that for them. But like I know this one chick, she just doesn't like meat.
Definitively, what it is. Those people they're on a diet using veganism as a term to maybe like feel.
No, like this
better
person,
about
she
their
just
impact.
hated the way meat tastes and smells.
So she wouldn't be
was-
vegan,
She was vegan,
but she'd be on a plant-based diet.
Yeah, so she's still vegan.
That's not no. But veganism would be if she's
So
like
veganism as
consciously-
a philosophy.
veganism is a philosophy,
Well, it's also
but it's not a diet. I'm telling you right now, like that's like actually what it is. It's a very common misconception that it's like because food is like the most prevalent part of our lives, right? It's the only part that people tend to see. Is the diet part because it's the biggest part that affects our lives because it's we use animals for that.
hold on. I got it. I got to fact check this.
No worries.
No worries. Okay, so is veganism just a dietary type or is it a philosophy? It's both.
And the reason it says it's both is because a plant-based diet inherently comes with veganism. It's like kind of a consequence of being anti-exploitation, right?
That's the thing is I'm a leather worker as part of it, but then I also use wood. But see, I don't buy leather brand new. Anything that's used, I just cut it up and use that.
Well, and
also PLU leather.
the reason I have
it's not as good though.
Yeah, but I mean, but also it doesn't take, it doesn't have exploitative purposes or.
Well, I
inherently
don't
exploitative.
use new stuff. I never use new stuff. Even when I make furniture, I use older stuff.
I think that can be good too. However, the way I think about it is just like since I see animals as kin, or I try to return them to kin status. It's like I see it the same as maybe if my grandma's skin was hand me down, I probably still I just personally don't use it
because it's a
philosophy. I know
but
that
then
I know what
but if
went
you
into
throw it away, then you're dishonoring that animal as it is.
Well, but the dishonor came from their whole life of
No,
exploitation
but
already.
see, but you should give them at least a little bit of honor.
Well,
they deserve,
and I get that
for dying for people's meat, and that so you might as well have it, take it, repurpose it,
and I get that.
Give it new life,
and I
give
get that
it new
too.
love.
My issue with that is I run into an issue where people see me wearing something that I got as a hand-me-down, and then they go, "Ooh, I want that," because people they're not always thinking critically.
See, that's the thing.
And then they go and they buy so it just looks like promotion.
Used and tarnished old leather has a specific look that you can't duplicate. You can't. You cannot.
But they'll try to make sure they're getting that authentic, non-duplicate.
They'll want some fake bullshit. If they're looking at you and they're not asking you where'd you get that or what'd you do with that, I have a bow. I have a bow and arrow. I don't use guns. I have a bow and arrow that my grandmother made for me when I was 8. And I use that, like, not for animals though. We'll just end that there. But anyways, so that's the thing is like people, where'd you get that? Like I don't ever buy new stuff. I like it usually, if anything, it's Goodwill, because there's already so much stuff out there that we don't need new stuff. And most of the new stuff is just recycled stuff anyways.
Yeah, I definitely get
like,
all my stuff from thrift stores and hand-me-downs or
like Gucci, like anything that has a label on it is so ridiculously overpriced that there's no fun. But anyways, I'll just instead of continuing.
Well, I was gonna say, so you see that it is not it's the exploitation thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And that it's a consequence of being vegan to try a plant-based diet, to make sure that you're doing as much as you can to avoid that exploitation anywhere. And so what that does, in theory, is that it gets people thinking about their connection to animals, to each other as a whole, right? Because, if you're against the exploitation of all sentient beings, right, you're no longer going to see other humans as disposable either, because there's now no longer this third category in your brain of people who get treated less.
That's
than
not
human.
just veganism. That's just called being ethical.
Yes. We believe that veganism is probably the most ethical way to live.
But it's picking your battles.
And then because you can still be vegan, right?
And
there's situations
and have a
where
huge carbon footprint. Then you're fucking up the environment in a different way.
And as soon as you learn about that, right? And as soon as you're educated about it, being vegan, like you would most likely probably, if you really are vegan, like you would do your best to minimize that. Like, say I'm already eating a whole food plant-based diet, and then I find out that the farm that I was getting my plants from, my whole food plant-based plants from, was exploiting a human in the process. I would definitely move my hand and go to the farm that wasn't doing so, or was using other practices, right? Using that polyculture maybe instead of the monoculture. And so I just want to ask if it's anything that you're interested in, like
I said,
more.
I've tried veganism, but it just doesn't work for my metabolism.
But that was before you knew that it was.
No, I've tried a plant-based diet.
Yes.
I've tried that. Actually, Thug Kitchen is great cooking.
Yes, I think they have Pop-Tarts that I've tried or something.
Yeah, I mean, I cooked so many different things. It does not work for my diet. I wasted away. I was so agitated all the time because I was always hungry. I couldn't ever eat enough.
And I get that,
because I have
right?
a huge because of the medication I'm on. Because I'm ADHD, so I take amphetamines. Have you ever given kids meth? Basically that's what I was put on as a kid.
And no worries about that.
So
right?
my metabolism is incredibly fast because of the medication I'm on, and I cannot eat a plant-based diet.
And that's okay, right? So let me say, you can still be vegan, right? And have the mentality.
Well, I don't see. That's the thing is, I don't limit it to just veganism, just that. I just call myself ethical. I don't limit myself to one mentality, to one.
Well, I'm not limiting myself either.
No. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. It's like I purposefully don't latch on to any personal terms because it allows me to go everywhere and help everyone.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I guess you could still live by not exploiting.
I live by my own moral
beings,
code,
right? And not,
I just don't exploit people.
Okay, the veganism word, whatever with that, the movement or whatever.
No, I mean, just seriously, I'm so a piece of me is like music. I crave music. Mm-hmm. This song will literally answer your questions. I swear. Just hear me out.
I mean, I get that.
It's 6 feet. It's called 6 feet. It's my battle cry to the modern times. I'm never going to accept a penny for it, ever. So if you want to hear it, this is your chance.
Well, I just question if we're
it's good.
Are we really understanding?
Yes,
what veganism
I want
is?
I want you to just hear me out.
But you don't listen to what veganism really is.
I
right?
did. I've been listening to it the whole time.
And I get that.
And I understand that. And I've known a lot of vegans. What is it? What? It's a philosophy where you don't oppress people, don't oppress animals. You basically stay clean of all animal byproducts. That way, you aren't harming an innocent life form.
Well, Yeah, and it's not
Yeah,
about the harm or their treatment.
Yeah,
Really,
but
it's
it's like
about that.
exploiting. Harm is exploitation is harm, but without needing to kill them, then you're not harming them at all.
Well, but you can still exploit somebody without causing physical harm.
Harm is exploitation.
Yeah.
So those go hand in hand. Harm and
Yeah.
well, that's physical harm. I didn't say physical harm. I just said harm.
Yeah. So I guess I just want to ask, how many animals more are you wanting to be exploited for you? Is it more than 0, or would you prefer to live the rest of your life having exploited none?
Well, like I said, I can't have a plant-based diet because I will waste away and I'll get agitated
And that's okay,
and I go through psychosis.
But
no joke.
Is it more than 0 though? Like that number?
Yeah, it's more than 0.
Like that you would like to?
No, I wouldn't like to exploit anyone.
So that,
of course,
that's all I'm trying to get.
That's what I'm trying
the
to
answer
get.
is no.
Like,
right?
well, no, I don't want to exploit. You see, that's cherry picking, and that's getting an answer and just cherry picking. That's like
Not
using.
really. It was just a direct question.
Yeah,
Like
it's using a sensational question that's very pointed to get an answer that you want.
It's just
it's a tactic. It's a debate tactic.
It's literally just me asking you a question and you answering how you feel.
Yeah, I don't want to exploit anything.
Okay, so the only way to do
except
that
for this
is to
YouTube channel to fucking get a song out
the
there.
only way to do that. The only
joking.
way to, I get that. The only way to do that is to live vegan or to.
No, it's not.
How can you do that while exploiting other sentient
Buddhism
beings?
actually is way more.
Do you know
about,
Buddhists are vegan as
no,
well?
No, well, Buddhists aren't vegan. Buddhists are Buddhists. Buddhists eat plant-based diets.
Yeah, I mean, I get that there's a whole philosophy of ethical, ethicalness, right? That predates the word.
There's
vegan,
also
right?
other things.
And it was actually called vegetarianism by a lot of Indian cultures or Eastern cultures, right?
There are tons of different ways to go about it. Hinduism, there's what is it? I think Hinduism, Islam. I think I just say you can't. No. That's halal meat, which is actually halal meat is one of the more ethical ways to.
It's not.
No.
They still slit somebody's throat.
An animal, but that's the thing. It's like that's a way to go about it. That's like literally like if
but
you're gonna
taking somebody's life when it's not necessary is never.
But see, that's the thing is people need to take life. Life must consume life to live,
like plants.
But that's like life formism, because plants also have feelings. Killing plants, if you kill plants around other plants, they won't like it. They will start producing sour.
We understand that plants don't make preferences, though, and
but they do.
Starting to one time here with this one.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll wrap it up.
Like seriously. So let me just seriously, you'll love this. Like, it's all about like anti-exploitation.
Okay, maybe
exactly
if
what you're about.
Maybe if you'll play it off on the side, because I just don't know if we.
Well, no, it's just like here.
Well, I just don't know if we even see eye to eye on the anti-exploitation thing, because you won't agree that.
Listen. This will answer your question.
I don't think it will.
No, I try me.
I don't think it will.
Try me.
I feel like okay.
Try me.
They're gonna talk in the chat.
Oh, we'll see, that's fucked up, man.
Well, so we actually just have to. It's been a while.
Hello to everybody in the chat. We're about to wrap up the live here. It's great to see all the vegans. It's great to see the mods. He says playing his guitar is about anti-exploitation. He's having a bit of a moment, but we're just going to move past that. Hi, 40-year-old vegan. Hi, Chip. It's great to see y'all. Yeah, a little bit of a tough situation, but we're working through it as a group right now. I'm going to ask everybody in the live to keep double tapping the screen, keep sharing. Let's see. I see you, U-Tops. I see all the vegans here. Hi, 40-year-old vegan. Yeah, there's a little bit of a reaction, but we're just trying to calmly de-escalate the situation. We don't want to fight with anybody.
Yeah, like that's what I.
Yeah, we're all right here. We're together. We're safe. Nobody needs to worry. Hello to all the vegans. I want to say thank you to all the vegans who have been active and to the mods who have kept the chat clean and safe and free of bigotry. We don't want any oppressive ideologies to be within our chats. Thank you, Chip. Yeah, they have a little bit of a pink tint, but I'm about to probably replace them soon. They have some scratches. I may add a tint to the next ones as well. It keeps the anti-vegans and the trolls in the chat pretty upset when they see the pink mic and then the pink tinted glasses. So.
Okay.
Hi, 40-year-old vegan. Thank you for doing some moderation in the chat. I appreciate you. Somebody says, what about your own vegan ideology? So we're here talking about animal ethics and asking, is it justified for humans to exploit other animals when we don't need to? When we don't need to be violent or violate the bodies of other animals? Why would we? Somebody asked how much longer for this live stream. We're going to be wrapping up in the next 5 minutes or so. We're just about to say goodbye, but I just wanted to engage the chat for a bit while somebody is having a little bit of a meltdown, but it's all right. We know how to deal with this, and we will de-escalate. Somebody says not all Buddhists are vegan. Does that mean, what's the relation to whether veganism is an obligation? There are some Buddhists who probably participate in other oppressive systems as well. Oh, that's Rebecca. I see you, Rebecca. I didn't know that was you who made that comment. It's so good to see you, Rebecca. I missed you here today so much.
I tried. No, that's okay.
Let's see. Nobody is having a meltdown. Is that what you guys do when you're confronted with logic? Call it a meltdown. So no, we weren't being engaged with. They weren't answering the questions. So we're just trying to move on with the situation. It took a lot of our time and went in circles of it. Hopefully he goes vegan. Yeah, I agree.
Animals, and you're happy about it.
Let's see. Car guy was a little violent. Yeah, he had a little bit of an aggressive energy. We're just trying to move forward from that.
All right. Sorry.
Made the animals first. If he can't save the animals.
You actually didn't ask me any questions at all, so I'll ask the question now. What is our justification for exploiting or objectifying the animals that we share this planet with when we don't need to? When we have another option? When we can choose to relate to them as individuals who deserve respect and bodily autonomy? Hello to you, Tops. Hey, Rebecca. Just great to have you all here. We're working on wrapping up right now, but I just wanted to engage the chat a bit. Yeah, I hope you're, I know you're out of town. I hope that everything's great with you, Rebecca. Somebody says that was directed at someone else. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Neil, but if you leave another message, I may get back to you. Somebody says, I'm not anti-vegan. Be a vegan all you want, but listen to your friend in the background. You're an oppressor, she says. You're a cult. So we were trying to communicate to somebody who wasn't hearing us that they are complicit in the oppression of our animal relatives. And I'm not sure what to say more than that. Hi, Louis.
Oh my gosh,
or is it
Rebecca,
Louis? I know, I saw Rebecca.
I didn't see Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca.
It was such a pleasant surprise.
Hello, Louis.
Hi,
Hello,
Daniel.
Hi, Chip. Hi, Vegan Anthem. My gosh, lots of vegans in here. David, Utah's PJ, hello.
If there's any non-vegans here who are wanting to open up this discussion a little bit more and have and leave your arguments against veganism in the chat, I'll be glad to respond to them. Do you want to say goodbye?
Well, I do have to leave. I'm waiting. Anna's just talking to this guy, but I'm hoping they wrap it up so we can do like a... but I do have to head out soon.
Grass-fed human logging it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll wait like 3 more minutes and then I do have to go. But if I do have to go, yeah, my Instagram and TikTok are grass-fed human _human, grass-fed _human. You can find me on there. Yeah, I make vegan activism content. You know, what I'm doing now, well, I guess not exactly what I'm doing now. I'm doing street outreach, but, you know, it's all the same. Just vegan activism. So if that's something you're interested in, you can go ahead and check that out. But, yeah.
David, 40-year-old vegan, said that was a tough one. You guys did the best you could. Yeah, not every person is as open-minded as the next. Some of them have a lot of resistance and they have a little bit of a hostile energy, but we're just trying to diffuse that. We don't want to argue with anyone. We don't want to spar. We just want to open up this discussion about animal ethics and whether it is ethical for us to continue exploiting other animals when it's not necessary, when we don't need it to do so in order to survive. There might have been a time when we were living in the forest and scavenging for food where harming somebody else to eat them could be justified, where objectifying another animal and eating their flesh might be justified because if you didn't, you would die. But in Portland, Oregon, in surrounding areas, in places adjacent to cities, we shop at grocery markets and we have an abundance of choice. We have no necessity to consume our animal relatives, their flesh, their secretions, or contribute to them being exploited within entertainment and testing. We don't have a necessity to do this, so this violence is needless. And we need to ask ourselves, do we want to be part of, do we want to contribute to needless violence against other animals? Or do we want to respect them as individuals? Hi, Rebecca. Let's see. I see you, Chip. You say, be smart, be strong, be vegan. Chip is a vegan. I don't know if he identifies as a bodybuilder, but certainly an athlete. If anybody is curious about the possibility of eating a plant-only diet while also being an athlete, please go follow at that Chip guy, because he creates that type of content, and he's living, breathing proof that we can be athletes and be vegans at the same time.
Right. He's got some gains on him for sure. So if that's something you're interested in, go check that. Go check him out, and just goes to show, you can be big guy being plant-based. It doesn't, or vegan. It doesn't matter. You don't need meat. You don't need animal secretions. You can build a strong physique solely on plants. So.
And to shout out Rebecca's blog, The Uncaged Front. I believe it's on Instagram, and you can look it up as well. All right. I'll see you next week.
Yes, I will be here next week. Again, my Instagram and TikTok are grassfed_human. You can check me out on there. Maybe I will do a YouTube. I say that all the time, but I don't know. I will. Yeah, maybe I'll post on there. We'll see.
We'll see.
Anyways, go vegan, guys.
Bye, Nick. And I was just shouting out Rebecca as The Uncaged Front, an amazing blog to check out for some food for thought and how to become more effective activists, and things to share with non-vegan friends and family as well. Hi, Daniel. I see you still there. 40-year-old vegan says, yes, we'll do it. We'll get you the subs. I will let Nick know that if he has... Oh, we ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. All right. So Vegan Stoner Lady here. We're going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys for all being here. Thank you for sharing and liking. Thank you to the mods for keeping the chat safe. Thank you for all the vegans staying here and answering all the questions, because we can't address them all. Really appreciate that. It was kind of slow today, but we actually had some really good conversations on and off camera, but a lot of off camera conversations. So anyway, I'm going to pass around the mic, and thank you all for being here. I'm BSL. You can find me on basically any social media. Come check us out, anti-animal use, and we do vigils sometimes too. So follow us here as well.
I am Enigma. We had some open-minded conversations today. And I want to ask anybody who's a non-vegan who enjoyed seeing these conversations and wants to see them in the future, please do subscribe to Anti-Animal Use, because we do this type of content regularly. You can also subscribe to Total Liberation Now on YouTube, as well as follow on Instagram. Watch that space, because we are going to be becoming much more active there soon. We do have enough subscribers. I want to give a big thank you to anybody who's listening who has subscribed. Thank you for getting us to 50. We will be definitely active there soon.
Hi, Elvin. It's still cold. Sorry, I was really focused on how cold I am still. But I'm Elvegan on Instagram, ELV3GAN, because I'm the third Elvin Wilson, and that's pretty much it. We were out here. We did have a lot of conversations. They did feel really good. I talked to some vegans. We met a new vegan who's going to come out here, maybe help us next time. So y'all can stay tuned to maybe meet her. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully we can have more conversations soon.
I just said my Instagram and TikTok, but I'll say it one more time. Grassfed_human. Go vegan.
Go vegan. Awesome. All right, guys. And with that, we're going to call it a day. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you to the mods.
Yes.
One more time.
Yes. Thank you to the mods. Thank you. Thank you to the vegans, non-vegans. We hope to see you next time. And with that, vegan out. You guys have a great day.
See y'all next week.
Great vegan day.
All right. Are you guys cool if I...